You've got 1,300 fans, obviously, with 11,000 crowd. 1,300 fans are going to make some noise today, and they've come here for one man and one man only, Pep Guardiola.
Well, Manchester City get us underway here at the Vitality Stadium. The atmosphere is crackling. I'll give you the Bournemouth team. I've given you the City side. Petrovic in goal. Smith, Senesi, Hill and Truefair are the back four. Adams and Scott in midfield. And it's Ryan, who's in great form. Krupi, who's had a hell of a season. And Tavernier behind Evan Nielsen up front. Anthony Taylor is the referee. Definitely Anthony Taylor, not Pep Guardiola. And well, I think Pep yesterday, Phil Brown, compared this fixture to a trip to the dentist. It is not something that you look forward to. Bournemouth, the most informed team in Europe right now.
Yeah, but he's won 16 out of the last 17 encounters, and I think it was only last year that he got beat in a 2-1 game. I think I was here to tell you the truth, but you know, all I keep saying is bring your A game to the party. But you keep forgetting that as an FA Cup final on Saturday, it must have took something out there.
Early ball from Tavernier towards Evan Nielsen, tries to get in behind the City defence. Nico O'Reilly is across there and turns the ball away.
You'd have thought it would have took something out the legs, but the preparation, I would imagine, would be absolutely spot on, as always.
Really intense start to this game by the home team. Little layoff there from Rayan towards Smith into Evan Nielsen in the area. I think City wanted offside. Flag wasn't given. Semenyo hesitates on the ball. He's given it away inside his own box. That was poor from Semenyo. Rodri steps in, fortunately for City, and turns the ball back to Donnarumma. But already in the opening 90 seconds, Bournemouth causing City trouble.
A little bit of pressure applied by the home team. You're looking at how people start a game of football, and there's no doubt in my mind that you can tell it's Bournemouth's last game at home, and the players are stepping up to the plate after 90 seconds.
And it goes to Krupi. Good touch from him, left-hand side. Truefair will think about the left-footed cross. Back it goes to Tavernier, and he just slides it all the way back to Senesi, who's someone else will be leaving the Cherries this summer, as well as the manager. City are in grey and lime green, by the way. Their change strip with the lime green stripe down the sides, and then the lime green shorts with the blue trim. Bournemouth in their traditional red and black stripes, black shorts and black socks. Guardiola is already out in his technical area with his arms folded, and it's not a warm evening on the south coast. You might have thought when the fixtures were announced this would be quite a pleasant evening in May, but it's been overcast much of the afternoon since I arrived. The atmosphere, though, is boiling up nicely, and Bournemouth have possession again. In it goes towards Evan Nielsen, cleared away by Kusanov. Tavernier's been busy in the opening few minutes. Krupi that time tried to get onto it. O'Reilly finds Kovacic. He's under pressure. Does well, Kovacic, to find the ball out. Oh, lovely layoff by Bernardo Silva. There's Rodri. Tries to release Erling Haaland. Fantastic back heel from Bernardo Silva. Kovacic has won it back. End-to-end start. 3 minutes played. 0-0. Kovacic for Manchester City, who was shooting from right to left in this first half of this tight stadium, which has the lowest capacity in the Premier League, 11,000, but they're making a hell of a racket so far.
Well, you're talking about the first couple of minutes we spent looking to our right-hand side, which is the end that Bournemouth are attacking, but a little bit of magic from Bernardo Silva.
Kovacic to O'Reilly, crossing position, low ball into the area, spooned away. Clearance is completed by Ryan. It's out for a Manchester City throw.
Just a ball into him from the centre-half into Bernardo Silva. He flicked it round the corner to Rodri, and he just mistimed his pass into the big fellow up top. It would have been a one-on-one situation.
Kovacic with the square ball to Bernardo Silva, halfway inside the Bournemouth half. Out it goes, left-footed to Matheus Nunes on the right-hand side. He's put under pressure by Truefair, stabs it into Rodri, and it's laid off to Bernardo Silva, and out it goes to Antoine Semenyo against his old club. Semenyo round his man to the byline, pulls it back. Doku inside the box, left-footed shot. Oh, great chance for Jeremy Doku, but saved in the end, low down to his right by Petrovic.
Massive chance, first good chance of the game, and I tell you what, the two wingers are going to have some say in the matter, aren't they? You're talking about Jeremy Doku, you're talking about Semenyo. Semenyo got to the byline and pulled it back for Doku.
Bournemouth have given it away, and City have it again. 25 yards out, Rodri to Doku, and it goes to Rodri inside the area, tries to find Semenyo, all a bit crowded, but it will rebound to Matheus Nunes. Much better couple of minutes here from Manchester City, but an action-packed first 4.5 minutes, 0-0.
Unbelievable. If this is a 0-0 scoreline at the end of the game, I'll show my whatever. I've touched saying the influence of the two wingers around the big fella up top. Haaland just needs to stand still, and the other two are just moving nicely around him. And one got to the byline and pulled it back for his partner, and it's a great opportunity, but he didn't really strike it as well as I thought he would have done, Doku.
Here's Kovacic, takes the ball down well in the tight space. Now it's over to Nico O'Reilly, just in front of the City dugout. Square to Rodri. Spoke to him after the game at Wembley on Saturday, and he admitted it'd been a really tough few weeks trying to get his fitness back. He lasted almost 70 minutes at the weekend, but fit to start again tonight. Such an influential player for City, who, remember, have to win this evening, and there'll be thousands and thousands of Arsenal fans watching this in the pubs of North London tonight as Semenyo gives away a free kick. So free kick to Bournemouth inside their own box.
Mark, that's the big word that you've just said that Rodri has on the field of play. 70 minutes at Wembley, it'll be strength sapping that at some stage. It took something out of his legs. But for Pep Guardiola to start him again, it just shows you that word, influence. He's a massive influence to Manchester City.
It's going to be a free kick taken long by George Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal, the Serbian international, who's all in bright purple this evening. Ball's on the left-hand touchline. Nice ball down the line by Krupi. Across comes Kusanov to concede the throw-in just in front of that big bank of travelling Manchester City supporters who've made the long journey down on a Tuesday afternoon. And it's a throw level with the edge of the City area.
And we know where this is going. This is going
do.
in the penalty box. It's going in the 6-yard box, I should say.
It's James Hill that's going to take it for Bournemouth, and this is going to go right into that Manchester City penalty area. Long throw, it loops up. Haaland's the only one who is anywhere near it in the end, and he had a good sort of 3 or 4 yard head start on everybody else.
He'd be delighted with that. I'll tell you what, he doesn't want to spend too much time in there 6 yard in the
Tell you what, he wants one of those in the other penalty area.
Absolutely.
That's where he wants it. Cleared into the Manchester City half. It's Mateus Nunes with a header. That time it goes out, but the referee Anthony Taylor wants to pull Bournemouth back and get the throw-in taken from the correct position. Tavernier lays it off. Good start to this game. 0-0 live on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds this evening. Long ball down the line from Adam Smith, the captain for Bournemouth, is charged down by Semenyo, who's come over to the left-hand side. Guardiola sat next to his assistant Pep Linders as the first of a million close-ups is shown on our monitor this evening.
I tell you what, it goes without saying, Mark, it goes without saying that Semenyo is up for it. I tell you what, the opening 7-8 minutes, he's closing down. It's not part of his game, that, I don't think. He likes the ball at his feet and likes to be running at people, but he's just showed you that he's got the ability to close you down there, which he's just done.
Some finish, wasn't it, on Saturday? Some
Absolutely.
goal.
Absolutely.
Incredible bit of skill from Antoine Semenyo. What a story for him, from non-league to scoring the winning goal in an FA Cup final. 20 up for the season, and such a huge player here in the first part of the season for Bournemouth, and a big part of their success before January, but since January they've been even better. That's a nice low ball from Alex Scott into the feet of Krupi, and now it's into Tavernier in space. He turns 25 yards out. Evan Nielsen, edge of the D, first time layoff towards Truffert, left hand side, will keep this in play. Across comes Mateus Nunes. The cross is deep, goes over the top of everybody, and it should be retrieved on this near side by Adams. Tyler Adams restored the American to the Bournemouth team tonight with Christie out suspended. Incidentally, he's been named in the Scotland squad, Ryan Christie, for the World Cup today. There's Evan Nielsen with a layoff to Rayan, and now it's Actor Smith, right hand side, low ball into the area, cut out by Kovacic, and now Nico O'Reilly, so calm in possession, just rolls the ball casually down the line like he's playing on the park on a Sunday afternoon. Doku picks it up. He's now back on the left, and Semenyo has wandered back across to the right hand side. Bernardo Silva has it for Manchester City. And the vitality, it might be small in size, but it is rocking tonight. It could be a truly special night for Bournemouth. In fact, on the PA before, they said it's one of the biggest nights in the club's history. They can qualify for Europe for the very first time this evening. And later, as the game goes on, we'll explain this very complicated picture when it comes to the European places, because tonight the title could be sorted if City drop points, and also if Spurs go and win at Stamford Bridge, relegation will be sorted too, and West Ham will be down So then in that case, the big storyline on Sunday will be the race for Europe. Long ball from Bernardo Silva out to Mateus Nunes on the right-hand side. 0-0 between Bournemouth and Manchester City, approaching the 10-minute mark. Live on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. Kusanov has it. In it goes to Rodri. First time return ball to Kusanov. And now it's square to Mark Gay, who strides over the halfway line for City. Interesting to see who Manchester City go to for the captaincy in the summer with Bernardo Silva leaving. Mark Gay will be a contender. In fact, I thought we had two balls on the pitch for a second.
I know.
We've actually got a balloon on the pitch.
You expect it down here, though, don't you? You go on the coast, you expect a balloon, a stick of rock.
Can't see one of them yet.
Gay for sure would be a candidate for that, but I'm sure new manager would come in and have his own way of thinking about captaincies, etc, etc.
Rodri to O'Reilly. Sorry, Phil. On it goes to Bernardo Silva. Manchester City starting to pull together another attack. Nico O'Reilly's wandered into midfield as he does so often, and it's been such a feature of Pep Guardiola's teams, of the inverted fullbacks, and such a feature throughout his career. You think about when he was at Barcelona, Mascherano, who was a midfielder by trade, became a centre-back. Philip Lahm, who was a full-back at Barcelona, became a midfielder. John Stones, who was a defender here, became a midfielder. He's just done it throughout his whole career.
Kovacic, and I've just noticed he just doesn't look up. I'm talking about the Man City pace of the game. He just doesn't look 100% up to speed with the game. He looks like he's a little bit sticky with his touches.
Alex Scott for Bournemouth as they pick up possession again. It's Tyler Adams out to Ryan on this right-hand side. He's in a good run of form at the moment. Scored in his last 3 Premier League games as the Brazilian teenager. Kovacic finds Haaland, as he did with devastating effect at Everton. And there is Antoine Semenyo from Haaland's through ball. He rolls it into the net, but the offside flag has gone up. And Kovacic, I tell you what, 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks has done that. He's picked up the ball in the half turn and played a direct ball through the middle that's nearly led to a Manchester City goal.
And not often does Erling Haaland show for that, but he does when Kovacic has got the ball and he's rattled it into him. He's got into a pocket of space in front of the 2 centre-halves and behind the midfield. And he's laid a pass into Semenyo, who's made a good run, to be fair. Semenyo's got that lovely habit as a winger. He doesn't just stay out on the line, he just come in and support his striker. And that's the run he made. And he was just, half a yard offside?
Yeah, wasn't much in it at all. VAR have confirmed the decision though. No goal. So it remains 0-0. Oh, that's a poor ball by Senesi. Oh, well won back though by Krupi. And now Ryan for Bournemouth on the right-hand side. Kovacic with a challenge. Clips his heel there. No free kick given despite the appeals of Andoni Iraola. Long ball forward. Headed down by Mark Gay to Nico O'Reilly as the home fans here claim for handball. Gay steps into midfield. That's a nice ball from the England defender. Now it's Rodri. 6 yards inside his own half. Lays it out to Doku. Chance for Doku to go at Smith. This might be where City have some joy down their left-hand side. The Belgian wanders infield though. Square to Rodri, who clips it out to Antoine Semenyo on the right-hand side. 13 minutes played at the Vitality Stadium. 0-0 on a critical night in the Premier League. City have to win. It is win or bust. Kovacic, now Rodri, 2 or 3 yards outside the box, into Semenyo, being forced away from goal. Challenge comes in from Bournemouth defender James Hill. It was. Now it comes out. Kusanov will fancy the strike. It's over the top. He caught it pretty well though. Went for the sort of curled side-footed effort, but just in the end a couple of yards wide, and it remains Bournemouth 0, City 0.
Centre-half just getting a little bit excited there. You notice the midfield players, they want to play an extra pass when they get to that position, but Kusanov was just 25-30 yards out. His first touch took him into a striking the ball situation, and he tried to put one of them dip benders on it, and it's gone over the top and harmlessly wide. 0-0
live at the Vitality Stadium. This is Total Sport as Tyler Adams for Bournemouth plays it into Senesi, and Andoni Iraola is out there, hands in pockets, looking very, very calm. We'll see what he does in the summer when he leaves. Nice little bit of play that gets Tavernier going down the left-hand side. Look, he's there to step across and get Manchester City out of trouble. It's Mark Gay.
They were in trouble as well. Kuzmanov went to read a pass down the lane and he misread it, to tell you the truth. Left Gay on a 2v2 situation with O'Reilly.
Alex Scott slipped over, still manages to release the ball. That's nice, into the area. Low cross in, Evan Nielsen had to score. He's offside. Well, is he offside? I don't think he is offside. He's put it over the top from 5 yards out. The Brazilian cannot believe it. And Bournemouth, with a quick little move involving 2 or 3 players, he's level. The square ball across the face of goal by Junior Krupi. Truefair involved in that move as well. The layoff from Krupi, the ball in from Tavernier, and Evan Nilsson's missed it. Phil Brown.
Just watch the replay on the right-hand side, and you look at the flag. The referee's flag was sort of parallel with the ground, and that's normally a sign that it's a goal kick, not a free kick for offside.
Oh, City giving the ball away. Oh, handball, says Anthony Taylor. The home fans don't like it. But Manchester City have got to stop giving the ball away in that part of the pitch. But that was a lovely move, wasn't it? Bournemouth really opened them up there.
Beautiful. They are good at one and two touch passing inside the final third, and they got to the byline lovely there. The ball was laid on a plate in the 6-yard box, and like you say, the Brazilian, he's hit the ball into the ground. It's gone over the crossbar. Really, really more difficult to miss than what it is to score.
Yeah, he's got 6 goals this season. We're disappointed with that return, really, given how well Bournemouth have done. Incredible 16-game unbeaten run, 8 wins and 8 draws. A longer unbeaten run than Bayern Munich at the moment for the Cherries. There's a foul for a push by Adam Smith on Doku. Free kick to City, 6 yards inside the Bournemouth half. Only 2 clubs in the Premier League this season have come here and returned with all 3 points. Arsenal and Everton. And Manchester City know the size of the challenge tonight, but if they can win this game, it will take the title race to Sunday afternoon and the final day of the season. Kovacic with the ball through there for Haaland. Bit too much on it, and it drifts out for a goal kick.
Mark, you're just looking for telltale signs about motivation, and you know, if you've got to motivate a group of players to win a game of football at this stage of the season, you're in the wrong game if you need to do anything with them. But they're playing, City boys are playing with a tempo, but when they lose possession, they don't realise how good Bournemouth are, and they do carve them open with 1 or 2 great 1 and 2 touch passes. It's fantastic to see a club that are only supported by 11,000 in the Premier League that they're doing so well and getting into Europe possibly.
That is the voice of the former Premier League boss Phil Brown with us on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. Here's Nico O'Reilly just over the halfway line. 17 minutes gone at the Vitality, and the blue skies have just disappeared again. Another big grey cloud has come in. It's one of those evenings where the lights have just come on here. The floodlights are on at the Vitality. A small ground, but a really, really big game. Kusanov long towards Doku. There's the header back, well judged by Adam Smith. Heads it all the way back to his goalkeeper Petrovic.
Kusanov playing a 40, 50, 60-yard pass, and for the first time I've seen Pep Guardiola comes out of his dugout and he's applauding it.
City have won it back. Here's Rodri halfway inside the Bournemouth half. Out it goes to Bernardo Silva. Right hand side, comes in field, thinks about the left footed cross, but he'll go wide to Antoine Semenyo, and he'll have a go at Truefair. Oh, good challenge came in from Adrian Truefair, the left back for Bournemouth, who's been a key figure this season. Started every single Premier League game, the Frenchman. They've won it back again, the Cherries. Up it goes to Krupi on the halfway line. Excellent touch from him. Gets him away from Kovacic. Looks for the run of Tavernier down the left. The ball's good as well. Tavernier is busy as ever, and he'll just look to squeeze a pass through back towards Senesi. It goes, and now on to Krupi, and Bournemouth will now just knock it around and make Manchester City chase for a bit. Really quick on the counter-attack, but then when they have to slow it down and play this kind of football, they're matching City. They're more than matching City in the final third. Here's Ryan out to the captain Smith, level the edge of the City box. Side-footed ball by the Brazilian Ryan into Senesi in the centre circle. Bernardo Silva, the furthest player forward for Manchester City at the moment. Kovacic and Rodri operating as expected just in front of that back four. The back four that we've seen for a large part of the season now, well, certainly since January. The likes of Ruben Diaz and John Stones and Vardiol out of the team, all on the bench at the moment as Pep Guardiola goes with this Gueye and Kusanov partnership, which has served Manchester City so well over the last few months. They're on a brilliant unbeaten run themselves, albeit Bournemouth on a longer one. Truefair comes forward 25 yards from goal, releases it to Tavernier. Now the swivel from Junior Krupi into the man who scored the winning goal at the Emirates a couple of months ago. Alex Scott, he'll have World Cup ambitions with England. Ball is in towards Evan Nielsen. City get it away to Haaland. Bernardo Silva tries to get Erling Haaland going over the top, and now 5 Bournemouth defenders are forced to run backwards at speed. Haaland brings in Antoine Semenyo for Manchester City, and occasionally they've looked for that long ball over the top.
Yeah, well, the space behind, isn't there? You know, when Bournemouth have got the ball, they're playing so much with confidence. They're leaving a one-on-one situation with Erling Haaland. They've tried it 2 or 3 times, but I think what Erling Haaland did there, he realised the 2 centre-halves have got enough pace about them, and he just was very complimentary to the Bournemouth defence, I would imagine, by recycling the ball and bringing it back for them.
Is this the kind of game that Pep will be comfortable with at the moment?
It should be, because at the end of the day, you know, you look at the league table and Man City are where they are because they've won more games than Bournemouth have. Yes, they're both on undefeated streaks at the moment, and both teams are playing with a lot of confidence, but it's the away they're playing.
Kovacic has been robbed just inside his own half. Early ball forward from Scott to Ryan. Now Smith with the overlapping run, tries the first time low cross into the area. Mark Gay is over there, it's out for a corner. I think he wanted an offside flag. Nothing given though.
He did. There was an offside at the far end of the pitch, but the offside wasn't this side of the pitch. It's the one that Scott that got the ball and he wasn't offside, which is unfortunate, but it's resulted in a corner. There's a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, corner to Bournemouth that Tavernier will come across to take, and he'll get a great reception. You can hear it quite near our commentary position here, which is really near the Manchester City dugout. We've got a bird's eye view of it, really. Guardiola just having a word with Pep Lijnders. I can see through the glass roof of the dugout about something at the moment, as City have a bit of defending to do. They've got every single player back inside their own 18-yard box as Tavernier looks to whip this in left-footed. City do have the aerial advantage, you would say. Tavernier whips it in, a couple of players go down, referee doesn't give anything, corner is half cleared. Truefair thinks about the left-footed cross back in, really good header away by Rodri, got up nice and early there.
Big lad, isn't he? Big lad at the back, and I tell you what, the size of them, and he's just been robbed there. Nearly got away with it. A little bit of counter-attack play by Man City. Yeah,
Alex Scott nearly lost possession. Senesi with the ball out to the left-hand side. That one drifts out. Erling Haaland's just exchanging a laugh there with Tyler Adams on the halfway line.
When you have a look at the size and the stature of the two teams, you would have said Man City were carrying more inches than what Bournemouth are.
Yeah, the City fans are now making the noise over on the far side of the Vitality Stadium from us. The east stand here is where the City fans are all penned in. Ball down the touchline towards Erling Haaland. Senesi gets up there with a header, and that's good again from Adrian Truefair. Back it goes all the way to Djordje Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal. Long ball from him towards Ryan. I think that did come off the arm of Nico O'Reilly directly in front of us. Nothing given though. Andoni Areola complaining to the referee, saying that should be handball, and in the end it's chested back to his goalkeeper by Senesi. It remains 0-0. We've just passed the halfway point in this first half. BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. A mammoth week of football this week, of live sport in fact. We've got Super League action to come the next couple of nights, well, Thursday and Friday, and then playoff weekend, final day of the season as well. Give you all the details shortly. Here's Bernardo Silva, left-footed to Haaland, edge of the D. Really good challenge from Scott for Bournemouth. Tries to release Evan Nielsen. Mark Gay's across there. Evan Nielsen beats him to it. Oh, Gay brings him down. Referee's giving it the other way though. Foul by Evan Nielsen on Mark Gay. The home fans don't like it, but Phil Brown, you're nodding your head.
Little race there going on, Evan Nielsen against Gay, and I think Gay got a little bit of a surprise how quick he was, but he got his body in front of him. That was the main thing. As a centre half, that's what you've got to do. There was a little bit of tugging and pushing from both sets of players, but I would have said the first one was Evan Nielsen on Gay, so right decision.
City take the free kick as Iriola continues to speak to the fourth official, Craig Pawson. Not happy with that decision, felt it should have gone the other way. Having seen the replay, I think Anthony Taylor definitely made the right call as Mateus Nunes rolls it back to Donnarumma in the City goal. Not had a save to make yet, but Bournemouth really should be in front with Evan Nielsen blasting over from inside the 6-yard box. City's best chance for Doku just inside the area, but a bit of a tame effort saved by Petrovic. So as it stands, Arsenal will be Premier League champions tonight for the first time in 22 years. It can all change quickly though. Maybe now. Bernardo Silva with a long ball over the top of that Bournemouth back four for the run of Mateus Nunes, but it just drifts out for a Bournemouth goal kick.
Mark, you just wonder whether there's a little bit of information gone into the players, because sometimes they don't see it. You know, you get embroiled in a game of football and you're 25 minutes in, you don't actually see where the space is. But I think Pep's certainly got the information on, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, they've just started to hit 1 or 2 longer passes and 1 or 2 passes maybe asking questions of Bournemouth's back four.
Goal kick to Bournemouth that they will take short. Haaland, Bernardo Silva and Doku attempting to put that Bournemouth back line under pressure, but they're just so comfortable in possession as they are there. Brilliant ball out from Smith, and now it's Scott. They'll try and chip it over the top of the Manchester City back four. Cute ball that's had a little bit too much on it for Tavernier, and Rodri now will carry things away for Manchester City. So goalless here at the Vitality. Mark Crossley alongside former Premier League boss Phil Brown on BBC Radio Manchester. Donnarumma has it. Not had a save to make really, Donnarumma so far.
But the best chance was definitely Bournemouth's way, wasn't it, in the 6-yard box?
Absolutely. Evan Nielsen is being a nuisance to that Manchester City back four. Kusanov to Mateus Nunes. Back it goes to Kusanov. Bernardo Silva's found himself at the back of that City defence temporarily. Lovely ball from Rodri through to Kovacic. Now he finds Haaland. Haaland to Doku, who has space just inside the corner of the Bournemouth box. He'll go on his left foot. The cross comes in, takes a deflection off Adam Smith, and it goes into the side netting, and it will be a corner to Manchester City.
Just going to ask you, Mark, have you done your coaching badges? Because as soon as Kovacic gets the ball, he's looking for the big fellow up top, and when he gets it in advance of his 2 midfield players that he's playing alongside, and in that situation Silva was playing centre half, but he was in advance of Rodri, he plays a pass straight into Haaland, and it's a recipe for success for me.
Yeah, he's looked very dangerous when he's got into that position as Kovacic. City are not happy here. They don't think that Ryan's back the full required distance as Bernardo Silva prepares to take this corner, and now the Brazilian will walk away. Doku's area of City do want to play it short. Instead though, Bernardo will go with the outswinger towards the head of Rodri. Down it goes. Bournemouth haven't cleared it. Still loose inside the box. Haaland shoots. Charged down. I think the block was from Alex Scott in the end, but there was a bit of panic in that Bournemouth back line temporarily. Should have scored.
It was a spillage in the middle of the 6-yard box, but it was Rodri's header that went into almost like a cluster of players. Haaland had the best chance and he's just trying to bury it.
Here comes Bernardo Silva's corner, headed away. It was actually Evan Nielsen, I think, who blocked the effort from Haaland. Bernardo Silva gets the ball back from Kusanov. Now he stands up the cross towards Mark Gay inside the 6-yard box. Loopy ball that came in, and there's a push by the England centre-back. There's a Bournemouth player down inside his own area there. I think it's the captain Smith, and it is a free kick to the Cherries. 28 minutes gone then, goalless at the Vitality Stadium. It's that stage of the season now where there is no margin for error.
Mark,
Arsenal are nearly there.
You know, there's always talk about corners, and you know it's been Arsenal's success this season, but it's everybody's success. Everybody's packing that 6-yard box and trying to cause a little bit of consternation in the penalty box, but it's the regains that work, and Nunes has just played an absolute dream of a volley out wide back to Silva, who put the ball back into the area, and for me, Gay's just committed the cardinal sin of fouling in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, it was quite appropriate really, wasn't it, that Arsenal's goal last night was a header from a corner. And another 1-0 win, 13 of those for Mikel Arteta's team this season. David Raya leads the way comfortably in the race for the Golden Glove. Donnarumma is second. Bernardo Silva lashes it long downfield. Oh, it could bounce in favour of Doku. Challenge comes in from James Hill, and he's certainly got plenty on that. It's out for a throw-in. He did well to recover in the end.
There's that long ball that I was talking about, and this time of all people, it was Bernardo Silva who's played a ball. He must have played it 60 yards over the top of the back four.
Haaland to Nico O'Reilly. Manchester City have possession 25 yards out from the Bournemouth goal. Rodri squares it to Bernardo Silva, worked out to Kusanov. Mateus Nunes is high up on that right touchline. If the Uzbekistan defender wants to use him, Kusanov of course will be at the World Cup this summer. as will a lot of these players. Kushanov now tries to find Haaland. That one's a little bit too telegraphed though, and Bournemouth through Senesi played away, but a little bit too much on it. And I tell you what, I think Guardiola's pretty active normally on the touchline. I don't think Andoni Iraola has sat down at any point in this first half hour.
He's in his last game at home. It's a big night for everybody, you know. It's a big night for Bournemouth for sure. They're losing a manager who's on this brilliant run. He's took the club to an unbelievable place. Obviously, nearly in Europe. Would have won one of the last 2 games and they're in Europe. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we know there's going to be at least 8 English teams in Europe next season, and if Bournemouth can be one of them, it will be truly special. As a header back by Ryan to his goalkeeper. If Bournemouth win this game, they guarantee a top 6 finish and European football next season, and they could still qualify for the Champions League on the last day of the season. If they draw, they'll pretty much guarantee European football in terms of the Conference League. And if they lose, they could still secure European football tonight if Chelsea fail to beat Spurs later. That's an 8:15 kickoff, by the way, so that one gets underway at Stamford Bridge in a quarter of an hour, and we'll keep you posted with that. A draw basically on goal difference keeps Spurs up. If they win, they're mathematically safe, and West Ham United are relegated. Bournemouth give the ball away. Here's Semenyo, turns and will now try and run at the Bournemouth defence. Ball into Haaland's got a bit too much on it, and now Alex Scott has possession. Both arms out from Iraola, urging his players to stay calm. Out to Ryan it goes. Back to Alex Scott with the hairband in. And now it's Tyler Adams. Square ball from him to Senesi as he approaches the halfway line. Into Tavernier. He's really good at taking up those spaces in between the lines. Now it's Trufer. Tries a little nutmeg on Mateus Nunes. Well recovered from Kushanov just in front of the Manchester City fans. Mateus Nunes will come away with the ball. Left-footed slide ball into Bernardo Silva in the centre circle. Takes out 2 or 3 players in that Bournemouth midfield. Now Jeremy Doku. 13 minutes to go till half-time. 0-0 on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds at the Vitality. Rodri has it. Semenyo thinks about a right-footed shot. That's deflected off Trufer. Takes all the pace out of it, and it bounces up and is claimed in the end pretty comfortably by Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal.
It's almost you attack, we attack, isn't it? You know, you're looking at any kind of midfield play and it's not existing. They just want to get the ball into the final third. And I don't mean the midfield's non-existent, I'm just saying the midfield play is non-existent. When the ball goes into the final third, they're asking questions of both defences.
Here come Bournemouth. They sweep it forward on the right-hand side to Adam Smith. Infield to Ryan. Nice layoff from him to Alex Scott, who's so calm out there. Wears his socks right down by his ankles with the pink boots. Long ball forward towards Evan Nielsen, who gets the flick on. Ryan's there, and he gives Mark Gay a big shove in the back. And that will be a free kick to Manchester City inside their own penalty area.
There's one question I would ask Mark Gay at half-time. Are you in a game of football? Absolutely. He's going through he's in a war zone. He's playing up against one of the quickest strikers I've seen for a long time, in even Evan Nielsen. And he knows it, by the way. And he's getting asked big questions tonight.
Well, City lost here last season, and they've lost away at Brighton in the last 2 seasons, including a game that me and you were at, Phil, that you referenced earlier. So they've not got a great record on the South Coast the last couple of years, and they really need to change that tonight. And there's ironic cheers from the supporters over on the far side of the stadium from where we are, because Antoine Semenyo's just overrun the ball against his old club. It's gone out for a Bournemouth throw-in, and Guardiola just turned his back on the play for a second there in disappointment. Here come Bournemouth now again, up to the halfway line. Evan Nielsen comes short, lays it off to Tyler Adams, and he'll now spin and move back into that central position. Tavernier on the left touchline. Krupi, who's been one of the outstanding young players in the Premier League this season. I reckon it's between him and O'Reilly for Young Player of the Year.
Oh, you almost put a curse on him there. With O'Reilly as well. I mean, how many positions can O'Reilly play?
I think I am slightly biased because I've watched most of City's games this season, but it's got to be Nico O'Reilly for me. Mark Gay does well. Under pressure from Evan Nielsen. Lay off to Doku. Little back heel. Tries to take him away from Adam Smith. Referee blows the whistle. Anthony Taylor gives City the free kick. A couple of yards in from this near touchline.
I think Doku's got away with that one. I know you're going to be biased and say O'Reilly, and to be fair, you know, somebody making his first year as a left back and you're playing centre midfield and you're handling the ball the way he handles it, and you're getting respect from all the quality players that are out there, it's unreal. But when you got Jeremy Doku in front of you, if not Semenyo, then all of a sudden you're gonna get a lot of help from
Hang on a minute. The game's restarted.
That's Bernardo Silva for you.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Anthony Taylor has gone over to the Bournemouth technical area to have a word with a couple of the Bournemouth coaches who I think have complained a bit too much about the challenge on Doku a second ago. And while the referee was talking to them, Manchester City was just restarted the game and they were just playing. And Anthony Taylor had his back to the pitch. Anyway, the game has restarted now and City have given the ball away. And Nico O'Reilly is straight over to the referee, as is Erling Haaland, to complain. 10 minutes to go till half-time. It remains 0-0.
Pep just looks a little bit not fully animated, is he? But his players are playing well. His players are playing with a tempo, and that's all you're wanting. Because if you get to the right level of tempo of the game, you should be winning it.
Well, remember, Bournemouth have had 10 days to prepare for this game. Manchester City have played, well, this is the fourth game in that period, with this backlog of fixtures that we talked so much about, with a rearranged Palace game and then the cup final. Doku lays it off to Nico O'Reilly, and now it's with Kushanoff halfway inside his own half. 9 wins and a draw for Manchester City since they went out of the Champions League to Real Madrid back in March. 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games. They're in really good form. But so too, of course, of Bournemouth. There's a foul this time by Tyler Adams, the latest Bournemouth player to annoy Anthony Taylor, with a shove in the back on Rodri. Free kick to Manchester City.
I'm just looking at the instruction that Pep Guardiola has given to Erling Haaland. As soon as he's getting the ball in midfield, he's wanting Erling Haaland to come into a pocket of space in between the 2 centre-halves and the 2 midfield players. Just that little square, little pocket of space to come and receive the ball, and then he'll get the 2 wingers coming in off the line.
Well, a little bit of frustration there, I think, from Erling Haaland. Semenyo played a right-footed ball into the channel, and he just gave Senesi a big shove, Erling Haaland, off the ball. James Hill, in fact, it was. He gave him a big push in the back.
Went to ground early, though. Went to ground very easy, Mark.
Well, the referee's just produced a yellow card. I'm not sure that was for Erling Haaland. I think that might be for one of the Bournemouth defenders. We'll confirm that in a second. Guardiola just takes a big swig from his water bottle. It's Tyler Adams who is the player who's gone into the book. So a yellow card for Tyler Adams, first of the game, presumably for dissent there. Kovacic stabs it forward. Senesi for Bournemouth, left-footed, over the top, tries to get Junior Krupi going. Mateus Nunes forced over there in the right-back position for Manchester City by the corner flag. Support from Kusanov, and he rolls it into Rodri, and City just calmly play their way out so well. Rodri clips it up to Haaland, who does drop deep, and Erling Haaland manages to keep hold of the ball and rolls it back to Mark Gay.
It's unbelievable when he does go. When he does go short, you've got one player going long, and this is the one picking the ball up here, and Bernardo Silva. He's all over the park again. What an influence to every part of the system. Bernardo Silva's got a say in the matter.
That's the voice of the former Premier League boss, Phil Brown, on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds with us here. It's 0-0 at the Vitality. The man who led Hull City to promotion in a Wembley final.
And they might be doing it again.
They might be doing it again on Saturday.
Who against?
Well, that's the question. It's Middlesbrough as things stand. If you missed that tonight, incredible seismic news in the Championship, with Southampton thrown out of the playoffs after admitting those breaches in Spygate 3 times this season they've admitted to it. Matches against Oxford and Ipswich as well as against Middlesbrough. So it's Middlesbrough against Hull in the playoff final on Saturday, but Southampton can still appeal, Phil.
Absolutely, and I'm doing work for five Live on the day, and I'm just wondering, do I do any work on Southampton or do I do any prep on Middlesbrough? I don't know at the moment.
I wouldn't bother yet. Long ball down the line from Tavernier. Oh, that's a nice ball back to Krupi inside the area. Right footed! He finds the top corner, and Bournemouth have the lead. The cartwheel celebration is almost as good as the finish. Manchester City are behind, and is that the goal that wins the Premier League title tonight for Arsenal? Beautiful finish, opened his body up, and City will have to do it the hard way. They trail by a goal to 0.
Mark, it stinks of absolute quality, and it was going to come from the far side of the pitch, and I think it was Truffert that went on an overlap. He got to the byline and he played an absolutely precise cross, and it was a pass, not a cross, into the path of Krupi, who bent it into the top corner. Donnarumma had no chance. 1-0 Bournemouth.
Some finish that. ball in from Truefair, opened his body up as Kushanov came across, and he scores his 13th goal of the season. The 19-year-old who's been outstanding for Bournemouth, one of the shining stars of this incredible season, with a standout moment there. Quite a muted celebration from Andoni Iraola, just clenched his fist as that went in, and Pep Guardiola sits on the bench knowing that his team have got a hell of a lot of work to do. They've given the ball away straight away. Krupi's in again. I think he's offside. He is offside. The flag goes up belatedly. But Manchester City with a really difficult couple of minutes.
Mark, I was just about to say it's an important 5 minutes coming up here, especially if Gay doesn't get back up, because he looks like he's hurt himself when he's gone down. And I don't know whether he's holding his arm, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But the first couple of minutes after you've conceded a goal, you've got to be on the money, and they were sloppy from the kick-off. And they gave the ball straight away to the guy who's just scored, who was just on the money, 1v1 with the goalkeeper. And fortunately for City, the flag went up. But it looks like Gay's treading water at the moment.
Yeah, it was a mistake by Rodri, and it was through to Krupi, and it was one of those situations, you know, where when you see the replay, he's comfortably offside, but of course the referee doesn't blow the whistle now, the flag doesn't go up instantly, and he could have got seriously injured in that challenge. He looks to be okay though, Mark Gay. He is limping and he's walking gingerly, but he's back on his feet and the game's back underway. Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0, 3.5 minutes till the break. Krupi outstanding again, and City will have to come from behind. Doku, they need the instant response. Little flick with his back heel from O'Reilly as the ball was fizzed into him on the edge of the area. Out it comes to Kushanov, and he'll feed it into Semenyo. And now Bernardo Silva, little clip ball towards Semenyo, headed away, and listen to the noise around the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth, as it stands, are heading for Europe, and Arsenal are heading for the title.
You'll see the best of Man City now, I'll guarantee you that, because champions don't give in. Champions just flex their muscles when they need to, and sometimes you wonder why they just wait till that moment. They've got a goal behind here, now they've really got to flex their muscles.
Long ball towards Jeremy Doku, but out of his goal comes Petrovic to claim for Bournemouth, and straight away through Scott and Smith, they're on the move again. This is the first time I've watched Bournemouth live this season in the flesh, and they're every bit as good as I was expecting them to be when you see their record. They're moving the ball around with real intent here, and Manchester City, who've done pretty well in the game, find themselves a goal down, 2 or 3 minutes before half-time.
Mark, you know, a job of a coach is to give players confidence and give players belief in what you're doing, and I tell you what, Ariola's got, it has to be said, he's done as well as Pep Guardiola and given his side confidence and belief in how they're going to play.
Header by Tyler Adams has too much on it. That drifts out for a City throw. 25 previous meetings, 22 wins for City, 2 draws, just the 1 defeat, and that came here last season. Although Manchester City did also win here last season in the FA Cup quarter-final. Guardiola's back on his feet, black coat on with a hood, long grey trousers and brown shoes for the Manchester City manager, in what could be his penultimate game in charge. Throw down the line to Doku, he goes down, ball's out for a Bournemouth throw. Guardiola scratches his head, and the Vitality's rocking. Just having a little look at Pep again. He's sending signals out to Bernardo Silva. He's just dragging him into a pocket of space and telling him to play the number 10 role just until half time. You've just got to get ball into good players in the final third. Evan Nilsson's been given a shove, he's down. I've just seen a shot on the monitor of Tal Raymond, who's the Manchester City fan who had the miniature bottle at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season, with the Arsenal logo on it, and he was saying that Arsenal were bottling it. Didn't look quite as pleased there with the camera on him, and the City fans not enjoying this at the moment. You wonder how you guys get all that information. Cameraman. Rodri, Haaland. City needs something before half-time. Semenyo, maybe this is it. Antoine Semenyo up to the edge of the area. Oh, well, he's threaded the ball through beautifully, but to nobody. To nobody, aye. Well, it was Haaland that gave him the pass. So the number 9 had vacated the number 9 role, but he was expecting, I think Semenyo was expecting Bernardo Silva to move into the penalty box. Andoni Iraola still pointing as it's fed in towards Evan Nielsen. Remember, it's Marco Rose who will take over here next season. The German manager, sacked by Leipzig last year, his first experience of the Premier League next year as the new Bournemouth manager. One of these clubs is getting a new manager. Is the other? It seems to be that way. 2 additional minutes at the end of this first 45 as the fourth official, Craig Pawson, puts the board up as Nico O'Reilly nods it down to Rodri. Now Mark Gay, now Kovacic. City need to try and find this equaliser before half-time. Doku with a chance to run at Smith and also run at Tyler Adams, who's on a yellow card. Challenge comes in from Adams, gets something on the ball. Doku to Kovacic. His ball into the box was kind of neither one thing nor another. Evan Nielsen and Gay are at it again. Mark Gay's down, he's punching the turf, and Anthony Taylor has stopped the game here. And these two have been going at it for the last 5 minutes. Absolutely.
He's in a right battle at the moment. And you don't often see it for a Brazilian number 9, but Evan Nielsen's really after Gay. The pair of them are physical. You can see from the replay, it's almost a rugby tackle on Gay. And he's hit the ground again.
How is that not a yellow card?
I know. Unbelievable. If the referee sees a replay of that, it has to be.
And I can understand Mark Gay's frustrations, having seen that again. He's all over him. Evan Nielsen almost had his sort of hands on his face at one point there. Núñez forward for City from right back. Out to Semenyo. Final moments of this first half on Total Sport. The Blues are goal down. There's the layoff from Krupi. Tavernier. City have to be careful here. There's 4 Bournemouth players up. Ball comes in towards Krupi and Gay's back. Gets a crucial touch on it, out for a Bournemouth throw.
They're not happy with one. They're playing counter-attacking football at the moment with a couple of minutes left, if that. And I tell you what, they counted very well there. They counted very quickly. 4 against 3 situation there.
Guardiola has got his chin on his face at the moment as he speaks to Pep Linders and Kolo Touré in the Manchester City dugout. Long throw that James Hill will take for Bournemouth. He's just using up a bit of time here. The 2 additional minutes has been played. This will be the last action of this first half. Live Premier League football on Total Sport. In it goes. Donnarumma claims the long throw. He's knocked to the ground by Krupi. He has a pop at the referee as the whistle blows. The Manchester City goalkeeper, and Kusanov tries to encourage him to get down the tunnel. In fact, all the City players, bar Mark Gay, are walking towards the dugout, but Gay's still having a real go at the referee Anthony Taylor over what he feels has been some decisions involving Evan Nielsen that he's not got the better of. Donnarumma's still waiting for Anthony Taylor as the rest of the City players walk down the tunnel, but that moment of brilliance from Junior Krupi separates the 2 teams, and at the moment has Bournemouth on their way to Europe and Arsenal on their way to their first Premier League trophy since 2004. Half-time score, Alex, here at the Vitality. It's Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 0.
And it's a mountain to climb for City, Phil Brown, because it's so tightly matched in that first half.
Very much so. Very much so. They both played counter football to a extent, and after 20-25 minutes, City started a long ball into the strike, and I don't think Erling Haaland for that football, as you know, but they had to play different from the first 25 minutes. It has to be Bournemouth counter-attacking, or whichever way they're a good side, no doubt about it. You can tell how good Bournemouth, because the frustration of senior pro like Mark, like Donnarumma, are spilled now into maybe a little bit of or an argument with the referee. They give all their effort and all their energy towards man, and that's the referee at the moment. It should be sport, if anything.
So there you go then. As it stands, Arsenal are champions. City, remember, have to win to keep the Premier League title race alive. It's 1-0. They're trailing at the Vitality Stadium. Second half commentary on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sound. Some finish that was by Krupi. Moment of quality, that could decide the title right into the right-hand corner of Donnarumma's goal. He didn't even dive. He was rooted to the spot. Doku had City's best chance. A lovely turn, brought him into space on the edge of the box, but his shot was tame. So it is Arsenal's as it stands. Those travelling supporters singing one more year, Guardiola. We'll talk about Pep's future very shortly. It's also a crucial clash for Spurs, who are goalless at Chelsea in the opening stages of that one. That one kicked off at 8:15. A point for Spurs, and they will be playing Premier League football next season. A reminder of the breaking news in the Championship tonight, and Southampton have been expelled from the playoff final. That's after they admitted they spied on 3 clubs in the Championship season. So Middlesbrough, who were beaten by Southampton in that semi, have been reinstated, and they will play Hull for a place in the Premier League. Southampton in the past hour have said that they will appeal the decisions, and it needs to happen quickly, with the final being on Saturday. Right, we will get some reaction as the news that Pep Guardiola is expected to leave Manchester City very shortly. And a reminder, second half commentary to come of Bournemouth 1, City 0.
Join in the discussion with Mike Sweeney.
I want to find out about your family traditions.
Well, it's going back some years now. Every week Monday, my grandmother, my mother, her 2 sisters and 3 grandchildren all went down to Manchester to watch the Whit Walks. The adults all had a red rose.
A red nose?
Rose, Michael, rose.
Sorry.
Keep up.
I'm trying my best. Remember, Gail, remember, I am advanced in years.
Join in the conversation with Mike Sweeney.
Maybe my hair is going.
Monday to Thursday mornings from 10.
On BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. Total Sport.
BBC Radio Manchester.
So as it stands, Arsenal then will be winning their first Premier League title in 22 years. Big work for City to do in the second half of the Vitality Stadium, a place they lost 2-1 at last season. They trailed Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Second half commentary to come on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. But could this be Pep Guardiola's penultimate game in charge of Manchester City? It looks like after 10 years and 17 major trophies, Pep's decade in the sun is setting at the Etihad Stadium, but what a time it's been.
Good morning to everybody. It's our first time here. Yeah, fasten seatbelt for the other side of the car. We are going to try to do our best for our fans, to try, at the end, to try to be proud.
Within 7 years, I won 21 titles. I'm sorry, I won 21 titles in 7 years.
Silva! What a goal! What a finish! 3-0. Silverware is going to be lifted by Manchester City. It's a historic day for Pep Guardiola.
It's important for Manchester City, of course, for us, for all the players, but not just for me, for all the club.
Jesus against the goalkeeper. He's lobbed in. Jesus has scored. Manchester City hit 100 points.
It's 100 points. So still I cannot believe it. So Premier League 100 points.
Manchester City making history. A treble of trophies that's never been won before. Manchester City have won the FA Cup. Manchester City have won the lot this season.
Well, it's one of the best seasons I have experienced as a manager. I would not say the best, but one of the best for sure.
Through the middle now, Havertz. Ederson comes out. Havertz has beaten him. Havertz scores for Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel's side are in front. That's it. Chelsea have done it. Chelsea have beaten Manchester City here in Porto.
It was an exceptional season for us. It's a dream being here. Unfortunately, we could not win. It's the first time for most of us in this club.
You have the questions like we have been punished. You are questioning me like we have been punished. And in that moment, we are innocent. The guilt is proven. And to them, if you lied to me, the day after I'm here, I will be out and you will not be my friend anymore. What happened? You got relegated. I will be here. Next year we'll come up to we're going to come back to the Premier League.
And up it goes. Champions of Europe and treble winners here in Istanbul.
Everyone say you have to win it, and the winning they was there, they were there to continue to do it, and at the end sport is like that. So this final was written in the stars.
For Rodri! That is the goal Manchester City needed, and they're heading for a 4th Premier League title in a row now.
in terms of numbers, nobody have been better than us. So the records, the goals and points and 4 in a row.
Oh, what a finish! The back heel from Antoine Semenyo. Yet another glorious day in this remarkable era under Pep Guardiola.
Have you ever thought about what kind of farewell you might want? You knew you were leaving.
And so many times I have one more year.
He's been so instrumental, not just at Manchester City, but I think in world football, how he's changed the way teams approach games.
Whatever they put on Monday won't be special enough to commemorate Pep.
Records toppled, Centurions, the domestic quadruple, the treble, 4 consecutive Premier League titles, and this year's domestic double. It has been a remarkable 10 years of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City as we await official confirmation of his exit. As it stands, it won't end with a shot at a domestic treble because the Blues are losing 1-0 at Bournemouth in their must-win tie tonight. Second half commentary to come on BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Sounds. We had a Pep Guardiola hour special from 6 till 7 a little bit earlier, and Blues fans have been reacting to that news with Gaz and Emily on Total Sports.
Quite sombre. It's been like proper gutted all day, to be honest with you. I know we knew this day was coming, but it kind of like it just hits home, doesn't it, when it gets confirmed. I'm still kind of got that faint hope that the club are going to turn around, or Pep's going to say after the game tonight, no, I'm going to do another year, or I'm going to extend my contract by another couple of years. But I think we all know that's highly unlikely.
Of course, it is a massive drop off going from Pep Guardiola, arguably the greatest manager to ever do it, to Enzo Maresca.
Considering Maresca's worked under Guardiola, I'm not that surprised. I mean, he was an assistant to him. You know, it does not surprise me at all.
What an absolute fantastic job he's done for us. You know, he's exceeded all of our expectations.
If you'd have asked me a week ago, I was really excited for next season. Now I'm dreading it. I don't want it. It's just unknown territory really now. We don't know what to expect. We don't know how it will go. It's just sort of hope. That's all we can do.
I'm quite optimistic. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but you know, look at how well Arteta's done at Arsenal, and Arteta, yeah, he's been back financially, but he's gone into that club with very little managerial experience, but with a good reputation off the back of what he did when he was in the backroom staff at City. He's going to leave a massive hole. He is, and you know, we're going to have to accept that. You know, what comes next might not be as good as what we had. I think it's only then that we'll realise how good this guy was for us, really, won't it?
Manchester City supporters earlier on Total Sport. You can listen back to that full hour, 6 till 7 on BBC Sounds. You heard their opinions on Enzo Maresca. Looks like he is expected to take over. Talks at an advanced stage. Of course, Maresca was the assistant to Pep Guardiola during their treble-winning year in 2022-23. Got Leicester into the Premier League as well the season after, and also won the Club World Cup, Conference League, and qualified for the Champions League in his full season at Chelsea. Make sure, by the way, to subscribe to the Manchester City page as well on BBC Sounds to get all the latest news, insight and analysis. Well, the England and Manchester United great Wayne Rooney has been given his opinion on the news around Pep's potential exit and why Enzo Maresca might be the obvious successor.
For him to leave, he's done 10 years, incredible. Was it 6 league titles he's won?
20 trophies.
What, are we counting Community Shields?
He counts it, so I'm not one to argue with him.
It's a trophy, isn't it? You've got to...
Yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah, but no, listen, he's been absolutely incredible, and the biggest thing I can say for Pep is he's completely changed the face of English football, and that's not easy. The managers who've managed in England, obviously throughout the history of football, and then it has changed over the last 10, 15 years. More foreign players, more foreign managers coming in, but he's the one who's come in and actually changed the whole pyramid, and not just that, even Sunday League football as well at times as well. So it's incredible really what he's done, and the trophies he's won, and he'll go down as one of the greatest to ever do it, I think.
I think Pep's left them in a much better situation than perhaps other teams have when big managers have left.
There's no way they'll be as successful.
Of course not. No. But I think they're in a much better position. They've got like some real stars coming through.
I think the issue Man City will have is obviously when you see how difficult it was to replace Alex Ferguson, how difficult it was. Even Unai Emery went in at Arsenal, how difficult he found it to replace Arsene Wenger. And I don't think it'll be the replacing him. I think it's the respect and which he commands and the influence and the pull in signing players. And the talk is Maresca is going to go in, and I just don't think he'll have the same impact from that point of view. So I really do think it opens it up, and the Premier League next season is going to be so exciting. You're obviously going to have City with a new manager, Chelsea with a new manager, Man United, Liverpool potentially with a new manager. So the Premier League next year will be wide open to see who wins that title.
That is the Wayne Rooney Show. You can watch it on BBC Sport, YouTube and iPlayer. Listen on BBC Sounds. A reminder that episodes drop every Friday and Monday morning. This one is special. One about Pep Guardiola's expected exit from Manchester City. The subs are about to make their way onto the bench at the Vitality Stadium. And the players on the way very shortly. City trail 1-0 against Bournemouth. And Phil Brown, a big half-time team talk that Pep's hopefully just delivered.
One of his biggest, I think, because, players look at you when the news comes out and, you're going to leave in a couple of games' time, and we've got a title to chase here, we're 1-0 down, we need some kind of information and advice to what you're seeing. From what I've seen, they're getting beat off a decent side, there's no doubt about it. They're 1-0 down against a team that's in banging form at the moment, and they're playing a similar kind of football to what Man City are playing, but a little bit better. The quality in the final third's been a little bit better than Man City's, and that's the reason why they're 1-0 up. Fantastic goal, great return, but straight away from the kickoff, Man City showed their frailties by giving the ball away straight away, and the ball could have ended up in the back of the net within a minute. It could have been 2-0 down. So, I think he should make changes. For me, I've got a feeling that he made a couple of changes at half time. To the detriment of the game, to the benefit of Man City. Shirky coming off the bench is a no-brainer to me. Marmoush possibly playing some part. I think it has to be said, Gay is having a real torrid game because he can't really deal with the pace of the striker. In Evan Nielsen, but he's come back out there. It looks like he's keeping the same team. And it'll be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or there'll be changes coming off the bench.
Yeah, Pep takes his seat in the dugout. A big second half needed here for Manchester City to take the title race to the final day of the season. As it stands, Arsenal will be lifting the title. Your commentary team, Phil Brown, Mark Crossley.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, Pep actually came out before the City players did, took his seat in the dugout, and then just ran his fingers over his face and almost buried his head in his hands. He realises they've got a very big 45 minutes of football here.
Massive. You're massive. You're talking about, it's not last chance saloon.
Well, it is. It is, really.
I get what you're saying. It is last chance saloon. It's the last 45 minutes, because if they don't get a goal, it could be party over. But if Bournemouth go 2-0 up, I don't think even Man City at their best would be able to come back from that. The next goal is vitally important.
Anthony Taylor blows his whistle, and we are back underway. 45 minutes to go. Manchester City have to score twice, or Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal players and supporters can party tonight in North London. And Guardiola's straight out into his technical area to complain about something with less than 10 seconds on the clock in this second half. I'll run you through the City team in just a moment, as O'Reilly's throw down the line is flicked away by Smith, and now Mark Gay will run onto it and return the ball to Donnarumma. So Donnarumma's the goalkeeper. Mateus Nunes, Kusanov, Gay, who's been having a real battle with Evan Nielsen throughout the night, and O'Reilly is a City defence as O'Reilly plays it in to Haaland. Semenyo to Haaland, and here's Nico O'Reilly, return ball, big save from the goalkeeper. Doku tries to follow up, and the Manchester City fans can't believe they've not got an equaliser there. It was Nico O'Reilly who found himself in the Bournemouth penalty area. O'Reilly again involved as Bournemouth nearly give it away, and a massive save at the start of this second half from George Petrovic. Semenyo and Rodri, though, continue to put Bournemouth under pressure. They can't get rid of it. Really good start to the second half by Manchester City. Now the challenge comes in from Tavernier, and it's a goal kick
That's an understatement, Mark. Really good start. I mean, that is the chance of the game. Here we go, you know. You're looking for Man City's response, you know, and what possibly Pep Guardiola said to them at half-time. But they've came out there with an urgency. There's a title to be had here, you know. You need to bring your A game to the party, and my word, what a chance that is. And it's a great save from the Bournemouth goalkeeper, it has to be said.
Yeah, Petrovic low down to his right, prevented Nico O'Reilly scoring home and away against the Cherries this season. He'll be really disappointed he didn't tuck that away. Been such a prolific source of goals from left back this season has Nico O'Reilly for Manchester City. He scored 9 of them in all competitions. So I'll complete the City team then. I've given you the back four: Rodri, Bernardo Silva and Kovacic in midfield, Doku and Semenyo wide, and Erling Haaland up front. And Erling Haaland has just run offside.
I'm not too sure neither. I think Pep Guardiola's just questioned it. I think Erling Haaland actually earned the right to that pass, and he came back on side. I think he was working the centre half, and he just came back on side for a split second and went on the offside when it looked like an offside to a linesman from this position.
Yeah, it's a tight call. Having seen the replay, maybe his right boot was playing him offside. And here's true fair for Bournemouth. Good challenge from Rodri. And now Bournemouth through Junior Krupi have it back. Senesi will clip it into Tavernier on the halfway line. He turns and feeds it to Krupi, who scored an outstanding goal 6 minutes before half-time. Alex Scott with the left foot. Out it goes to Ryan. Corner of the area. Back onto his left foot. His shot is charged down by Kovacic. And now Bernardo Silva plays it into Doku. Guardiola's still in the ear of Craig Pawson, the fourth official, over that offside call. He's been pulled away by Pep Linders, his assistant. Semenyo's picked up the ball on the right-hand side. Second half is
interesting.
Started quickly, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Semenyo has it, and now he'll roll it back to Kusanov. I'll quickly run through the Bournemouth team. Petrovic in goal, Smith, Hill, Senesi and Truefair the back four, Scott and Adams in midfield, Ryan, Krupi and Tavernier behind Evan Nielsen up front. Kovacic inside the centre circle, sprays it out to the right-hand side. Mateus Nunes for City, level with the edge of the Bournemouth area. We've played 3.5 minutes in the second half. 1-0 to the home team. Manchester City know what they have to do in this second half. Krupi with a delicious return ball there towards Tavernier. Unfortunately for him, just a little bit too much on it. Out for a City throw, which they've already taken. A real sense of urgency about Manchester City since half-time, as Rodri picks up possession 25 yards from goal. Doku wants it played through the legs of Alex Scott to him, but instead it'll go wide to Kovacic, who feeds it in towards Erling Haaland. Good diving challenge from Ryan, out for a City corner. They've started turning it up a notch.
Absolutely, it's gone up a notch. Or 6, to tell you the truth. 49 minutes on the clock, and we're looking one way at the moment. I don't think for the 4 or 5 minutes that we've been playing the second half that Bournemouth have been in the Man City end.
Bernardo Silva with this corner from the City left. The Blues trail by a goal to 0. As the skipper in his penultimate game for the club raises his right arm, left-footed ball in. Mark Gay goes up for the header. Senesi wins it, drops to Haaland, flicks off the boot of Rodri. Evan Nielsen heads it away, drops to Mateus Nunes, 25 yards from goal, clips out to the left-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Header comes in from Ryan again. That's 2 big interventions defensively from Ryan in the last few minutes. And City pick up the ball again. Really good start to the second half by Manchester City, who are in there. Grey and lime change kit, shooting left to right as we look here at the Vitality on a grey overcast evening. Ball chipped up towards Semenyo, headed down. Alex Scott collects for Bournemouth, and it goes to Ryan. Little back heel from him, just actually bounces off his boot last and out for a Manchester City throw. Phil Brown.
You just want a little bit more from Semenyo. I know he's back home and he's back at the club that sort of made him. Just not seeing the level of, I don't know, importance where the game's concerned.
Danger. Tavernier's got space. If Krupi can find him, he can. It's Tavernier, 25 yards from goal. Mateus Nunes is back. His manager, Andoni Iraola, is just encouraging him to lay it short to Truefair and slow things down. And that's exactly what Tavernier has done. Do enjoy watching him play. Bournemouth in their red and black stripes with the black shorts and the black socks this evening. And Tavernier with the multicoloured boots. It's rolled all the way back to James Hill, one of the 2 central defenders for Bournemouth, and poked back to the man who's already made a big save in this second half, Petrovic, the goalkeeper, who's in purple and yellow. Ball down the right-hand touchline. That was a poor one from Smith, intercepted by O'Reilly. Good harrying from City, in towards Bernardo Silva. Ball wasn't great though, and Bournemouth come away with it again. Scott into Evan Nielsen, chest down. That was nice from the Brazilian. Now it's laid on by Krupi to Tavernier, left-hand side, 25 yards from goal. Truefair with the overlapping run. Krupi will find him now, back across the face. It's a great move. It's a really big save from Donnarumma. Low down to his right to deny Evan Nielsen. Great football by Bournemouth, and they very nearly killed off Manchester City's title hopes.
Well, you're talking 5-6 minutes into the half, and it was all Man City, it was all one way. The first counter-attack has resulted in another a little batch of one-touch passing to get you into the 6-yard box, and they're doing it so well. But it looks as almost like there's 4 defenders and nobody else at the moment.
Corner to Bournemouth, attacking the Steve Fletcher stand in the second half at the Vitality, with the fans behind the goal all on their feet. Alex Scott with a corner to the near post. Saw Steve Fletcher actually on the pitch out at half-time. He was firing shirts from a cannon into the crowd. Kovacic hoofs it high into the sky. There's a push there by Mateus Nunes. Referee didn't see it, and Haaland gets City moving forwards. Bernardo Silva to Kovacic on the halfway line. Mateo Kovacic strides forward and plays one of those killer through balls to Erling Haaland. It's on his wrong foot. He collects it, puts it back on his left. Now Rodri, edge of the D. This is a chance. Stands it up. Doku hits it down into the ground. Bournemouth haven't cleared it. Bernardo Silva's still in there. It all got a little bit scratchy from Bournemouth at the back, and Bernardo Silva rolls his fingers through his hair. He didn't quite get the true contact on that he needed.
Didn't get the contact on it. He was the only one to react, and Doku didn't react. He put the cross in. He was appealing for a handball.
Truefair to Ryan down the left-hand touchline, couple of yards infield. He goes down, gives it away to Bernardo Silva. That was poor. Rodri, now Nico O'Reilly. What a brilliant 8 minutes we've had since half-time.
Absolutely. There's one thing about Man City there, they've just kept possession, that's all well and good, but they brought everybody back into the game instead of hitting them on the counter.
Cherky's about to come on. Phil said that was going to happen at half-time. Well, it hasn't taken long. I think Savinho's on his way as well. He's the second player to take his training top off. So 2 changes on the way from Pep Guardiola on what could be his penultimate day in that dugout. And now Bournemouth on the far side field, they should have had a free kick. Alex Scott went down. In the end, it's just a throw into Manchester City.
A little bit of both there. I think you got the ball and the man. But there's 2 changes here, there's 3 changes here.
Yeah,
I think
Foden.
Phil Foden as well, that's brilliant.
Yeah, Phil Foden's coming on.
I think he's been looking, Pep, at Doku's contribution, and certainly Semenyo for me. Semenyo looks a little bit leggy from the game on Saturday. Now, whether that's the case, only the coach will know that. But he doesn't look as if he's covering the ground. You would have thought he would have been motivated for this game above the one at Wembley on Saturday.
Well, Phil Foden, Ryan Cherky and Savinho all about to be introduced. Guardiola just getting some instructions to Cherky as Gay plays a slightly risky ball cross field. Bernardo Silva does well though, and now Rodri will clip it out over the head of Ryan towards Mateus Nunes, just in front of us in our commentary position, just to the right of the halfway line as we look here at the Vitality. There's a late challenge by Adams, who's already on a yellow card. Mateus Nunes wants to get on with the game. He gives Ryan a big shove in the back, and Anthony Taylor saying, hang on a minute, your team want to make 3 substitutions here.
This is really interesting, this, Mark, I tell you.
Yeah,
really
let's
interesting.
see who the 3 players are.
Could be a biggest call of the season, this one. Silva's looking across here. It's maybe the legs where Silva's looking across.
Every Manchester City player looking over to the touchline.
He's took the armband off, give it to Rodri, so he's come off. There's one.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva off, Ryan Cherky on, Kovacic off, Phil Foden on is the second change. And, well, it's going to be Semenyo or Doku here for Savinho, surely. The final change, I suspect it will be Semenyo, and it is.
It is, yeah.
Antoine Semenyo leaves the field, and he'll probably get a really good reception as well from most of this stadium. There you go, right on cue.
Listen, he knows it's the right decision. You know, it's not about him at the moment. It's not about the subs. It's about the impact the 3 subs that are coming on are going to make.
Antoine Semenyo, Manchester City's match winner at Wembley on Saturday, is withdrawn, and Savinho is on, and he's on the ball straight away. He's had a scratchy season, to say the least. Savinho did score in their last Premier League game, though, against Crystal Palace 6 days ago. Given away by Rodri, and now Tavernier picks up the ball for Bournemouth, who lead by a goal to 0. As Savinho puts the challenge in, the ball had already gone out actually. City throw in. Oh, and then that's, well, creepy there. He's lucky if he doesn't get a yellow card. He tried to kick the ball away directly in front of the dugout. Not sure Anthony Taylor was watching. He is our match official tonight. 11 minutes gone in the second half.
Mark, it's really interesting, the 3 subs. I think what it's admitting where Pep Guardiola's concerned is that Bournemouth are a decent side. He's brought 3 ballers on. He's brought 3 ball players on the pitch to try and match them, if anything.
Long ball over the top from Bournemouth. Gay's there to nod the ball all the way back to Gigi Donnarumma. So a triple sub by the Manchester City manager 11 minutes into this second half. Foden, Cherki and Savinho all on. Bernardo Silva, Kovacic and Semenyo, the players to go off. A reminder, if you need reminding, that Manchester City have to win this game to take the Premier League title race to the final day of the season. So they need 2 goals. Mateus Nunes just took his eye off Evan Nielsen. It was Tavernier in the end who got back at him, and now here's Evan Nielsen making himself a nuisance against Gay again, and City that time come away with the ball.
First time he's had the ball and he's being dispossessed, Cherki. He's on the halfway line. He doesn't want the ball there. He wants the ball in the final third.
Tyler Adams for Bournemouth. In it goes to Tavernier. He makes the run. Rodri steps across. Tavernier goes down. He thinks he should have had a free kick there. A rueful smile from Andoni Iraola. Rodri slipped. That's a couple of players that have slipped in the last 2 minutes. And Bournemouth pick up possession again.
Areola's laughing there because it looked a blatant foul. It has to be said. He made no contact with the ball.
Here's Truffert down the left for Bournemouth. Slides it in. Comes off Kusanov, who goes down holding his head. It's out for a Bournemouth throw. Level with the edge of the City box.
Going down too easy for me. And don't get me wrong, it's been a gruesome season, isn't it? You know, the amount of games that have been playing, the travelling, the journeys, the distance, Europe, you name it. And it looks like he's got one there, just with the ball to win though.
Chelsea 1, Spurs 0 at Stamford Bridge. Enzo Fernandez with that goal. So as that stands, the relegation fight would go to the final day of the season. But the title race won't unless Manchester City have something in the next half hour. Long throw into the City box. And that time Mateus Nunes manages to clip it over the top for Savinho to run onto. He's gone down. Referee is going to give a free kick here, and a yellow card's out of his pocket. I think the yellow card's going to go to Adam Smith, the Bournemouth captain, but Tyler Adams is down, holding his right knee.
Areola's just a little bit, I don't know, he's that wry smile in his face every time the referee blows his whistle. It's almost like it isn't a foul, but it is. There's no doubt about it. There was contact.
Seems to be okay, Tyler Adams, just limping, but he's back on his feet, and the game restarts. Kusanov has it for Manchester City. Oh, it's poor though, given away. Alex Scott, really good for Bournemouth. Then Adams dives in, ball runs all the way through to Mateus Nunes. Ruben Diaz, John Stones and Tijani Reinders go out to warm up for Manchester City on the near touchline. Pep Guardiola's still stood there in his black coat, hands in pockets. 6 Premier League titles in 9 seasons, but it looks like it will not be 7 before what we expect to be his final game in charge on Sunday against Aston Villa. Now it's Truffert, wins it back for Bournemouth, the left back. Goes to Tavernier, left hand side. Now the overlapping run from Truffert, square ball, edge of the area, there's Krupi! Over the top, that was the chance to seal it. You felt really good move again with a one-touch passing, and he's fired it high and wide.
He's took the chance, you know, and it was 3 against 1 when he took a strike. But he fancied himself, obviously scored in the first half with a lovely technique, and he's tried it again with his right foot. But City just at the moment can't get the ball to the 3 players that they brought on.
Alex Scott goes around Cherki with ease. He crosses it into the penalty area. Kusanov is there to turn it away, and it's out towards the corner flag, and Alex Scott will just let that go out for a corner. And listen to the noise all around this stadium. Bournemouth heading for Europe. They lead by 1-0, and they've got another set piece.
You haven't got 11,000 fans turn up to see Man City's great night. I tell you what, they just want to see a home win so they can go into Europe and celebrate something that they've never done before. I was born in the northeast and I thought Bournemouth was in Europe. They're certainly going to prove it now. It's about 7.5 hours to get down here.
Tell me about it. I've done that today. Corner that Tavernier will take for Bournemouth, who lead by 1-0. And remember, if they win tonight, they're into Europe next season. Tavernier with this left-footed lofted corner that drops in the 6-yard box, and Bournemouth have hit the post. It's Ryan who scored in his last 3 games. He was sort of off balance, he's swivelled, and he's hit it against the woodwork. Phil Brown.
It looked like they were lacking a bit of inches there, and it was Nunes, I think, that got the header in, or O'Reilly. One of the two. No, it was Gay, and it's fallen to, as you've just said, it's fallen straight lovely to the right foot of the Bournemouth player, who looks like he's hit the post. What a chance that is. There's chances coming.
It was James Hill who won the initial header, and it dropped to Ryan. And he turned, and he, from about a distance of 5 yards, rattled the post. City have given it away. Rodri's given it away. Evan Nielsen checks back onto his left foot, 20 yards from goal, central position, feeds it out to Tavernier. Bournemouth enjoying a little purple patch in this second half. Out it goes to the left-hand side, back to Tavernier. Are they good value for this lead?
Very good value, very good value. I think Pep will be kicking himself. He's made 3 changes, but they clearly haven't got the quality to get the ball to the 3 players in the system that they're playing.
He spoke about this game being like a trip to the dentist, and so far it's been exactly that.
Absolutely, and you're having a couple out by the looks of it. That's the first touch Phil Foden's had, and he's been on the pitch 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, Foden to Rodri, back to Phil Foden over the halfway line. Out to Doku. City need something from him. The Belgian carries it towards the edge of the area. Smith and Scott there for company. Cherky makes a late dart into the area. It's worked backwards to Rodri. 25 yards out, he pulls the trigger. It's high and wide from Rodri. He had a little bit of space there, and he scored plenty of crackers and that distance before. Think about the one against Aston Villa on the last day of the season, and this time it was over the top.
I'm not going to question his first touch, but it was just a little bit loose. He wanted it to settle straight away, and because it wasn't settled, he had to sort of hit it on the up, and that's exactly where it went, up and over.
Noel Gallagher's here, by the way, part of that Manchester City section in the East Stand at the Vitality, directly opposite us. Phil Foden with a first-time layoff to Mark Gay. Manchester City have 27 minutes plus stoppage time to find 2 goals here on the South Coast, or else Arsenal will party like it's 2004. Here's Jeremy Doku, comes in field. Rodri's there square. Foden wants it back. Doku doesn't give it him back though. He carries it himself up towards the edge of the area. Left-footed ball in towards Cherky, half cleared. Kusanov. Now Mateus Nunes. 1-0 to Bournemouth on Total Sport. Savinho towards the byline. Oh, really good defending. And Adrian Truffert, who's been excellent tonight, and he's whipping the Bournemouth fans up behind the goal, who saw that out for a goal kick.
Absolutely. Last home game, you can see it's the last home game here. You can see it's the last home game for the manager as well. I tell you what, they're playing with a passion and a pride. They're not laying down for possible title winners. They're here to make a game of it.
Supporters on all 4 sides of this small stadium are on their feet. Bournemouth, the club that have been right to the brink at the bottom of the Football League, heading into Europe for the first time in their history, if things stay as they are. You're listening to BBC Radio Manchester. BBC Sounds at the Vitality. Doku thought he'd kept the ball in by the corner there. It's a long way away from us. Adam Smith had kind of given up on it. The referee said it's gone out for a Bournemouth throw-in right in front of the City supporters.
Long way away from the linesman as well. I think we're closer than the linesman. He's got to be 50 yards away. Oh, it's not. It hasn't gone out. Just seen a replay of it.
He'd done well there. And City can quite rightfully be frustrated by that decision. Anthony Taylor's ready for the throw-in to be taken. And Pep Guardiola's taken his seat again on the touchline. Foden wins it back for City and then just knocks the ball out of play for a Bournemouth throw-in. I mentioned earlier it's a really, really busy week on Total Sport. Thursday night live commentary from Super League. Hull KR against Wigan Warriors. Matty Peets picked the kids for that one. That's on 95.1 FM. We'll see that match up in the Challenge Cup final. Friday night, Lee Leopards against Hull FC in Super League. And then on Sunday, what a day we've got. Live from Wembley for the League One playoff final. Stockport County against Bolton Wanderers. And then we're at the Etihad for what could be Pep Guardiola's farewell. Manchester City against Aston Villa. With updates of United. Here come Bournemouth looking for a second goal. And that time the cross from Truffert is charged down by Mateus Nunes, and it's out for another Bournemouth corner.
They're just cutting a frustrated group. They're not expecting it. You're not expecting what Bournemouth are throwing at them, I tell you. To a man, everybody's huffing and puffing and not really doing their jobs properly defensively or going forward, to tell you the truth. It's not been a great City performance, but has to be said, it's down to the fact that Bournemouth have stepped up to the plate.
Didn't even get time to tell you it's Salford Notts County on Monday in the League 2 playoff final, and then the Manchester City parade for the men and the women. Corner, Alex Scott, and it comes, headed away by Mateus Nunes at the near post. Well, City will parade the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but at the moment they won't be able to do the same with a Premier League trophy, because we're halfway through the second half and they still trail to that incredible strike from Krupi just before half-time.
Need a little bit of magic. That's what I'm saying. Most of them big coaches, they've got that little bit of magic in their pockets, and at this moment in time, with 20 odd minutes to go, they need that magic now.
Here comes a long throw into the City area. It's helped back in, straight into the arms of Donnarumma, and he looks to release it early, but there isn't enough options for him. And now he's holding on to the ball, and he's got to be careful. We've got 8 seconds. He drops it, and now Kusanov will carry it clear for Manchester City. Savinho just inside his own half, picks up the ball, the Brazilian on the half turn. Out it goes to Mateus Nunes. Wasn't the best return ball, to be honest, from him to Savinho. Tavernier's in there, Savinho's down. Free kick has gone in City's favour. Guardiola comes out of his technical area to try and retrieve the ball quicker than any ball boy could have done, and City have got the game back underway. Rodri, he's lost out. Rodri's given the ball away a lot tonight. Challenge comes in from Senesi, and now Bournemouth go forward with Krupi again. They're really good to watch, Bournemouth. Here's Alex Scott. Out it goes right-footed to Ryan. This is trouble for City. He's up against O'Reilly, goes on the outside, low ball in, deflects. Donnarumma palms it away for a corner.
Good side, very good team at the moment. And the Bournemouth fans are asking for a yellow card in hindsight, but it's not coming. There's a lot of frustration around at the moment. There's a lot to the Man City players and not the Bournemouth players. They're enjoying every minute of it.
They are. It was deflected that off Nico O'Reilly. Nearly wrong-footed Donnarumma at the near post. He did well to get down the Italian. He's got a summer off coming up. Gigi Donnarumma, no World Cup for him. Nico O'Reilly will fully expect to be in that England squad when it's named on Thursday. Corner to Bournemouth from their right-hand side. It's going to be Tavernier again, left-footed with both arms in the air. In it comes from Tavernier. It's a high one towards the far post. Donnarumma came, didn't get there. It's actually flicked off a City head. Kusanov in the end out for another corner.
He came, but he never got there because he cannot come. There's so many bodies in that 6-yard box, and it's not just a wall of Bournemouth players. There's too many Man City players in there as well. I mean, look at the size of Erling Haaland right in front of Donnarumma, and he's got Rodri around him. He's got Gay around him. There's too many in there. The keeper can't come. I'm sure Bournemouth have recognised this. Every corner's going underneath the crossbar in swinger.
Yeah, Alex Scott this time from the left. Worrying moments for Manchester City. Right-footed in swinger, punched away by Donnarumma, who was off balance. He got a shove. The referee Anthony Taylor's given City the free kick.
Rightly so as well. He came out. He's like a Superman impression. The one-handed flying machine there. He managed to get his fist onto it, to be fair, and it was a foul, definite foul on the keeper.
Guardiola is encouraging his team to get back on with the game. The clock is ticking. Every second counts. Foden chases after a loose ball. Senesi's down on the turf. Referee's not given anything. Ball up to Krupi. Looked like a handball, to be honest, but Nunes is there for City anyway. Now Cherki to Rodri on the halfway line. What have Manchester City got? 20 minutes to go here at the Vitality. Crossfield ball to Doku. Again Smith. Doku into the area. He's held him off, rolls it back towards O'Reilly, and for a second there I thought he was going to go down.
What an opportunity that was for Doku if he wanted to. He could have gone to ground. He could have got to the byline and gone to ground, and he pulled back on his right foot and he pulled it back. He could have gone to ground then as well.
Short corner taken by Cherki. Now Doku will go on the outside of Ryan. Could have gone down again there. Really strong though from Ryan, who gave him a shove, the old-fashioned shoulder charge, and then almost celebrates that as if it's a goal in front of the Bournemouth supporters.
The fans behind the goal. It looks like they've scored a second goal there. I tell you what, to keep Doku. Jeremy Doku's been one of the players of late of Man City's plate this season, and he's just getting no joy out of the fullbacks. So although you can talk about Bournemouth and their style of play, the way they're playing defensively, to a man, they stand up to it.
They're great to watch. as tough as it is to watch from a City perspective, fully deserving of a place in Europe next season. Truffet's been excellent down this left-hand side, he really has. Long ball down the line, Kusanov with a header. Mateus Nunes to Rodri. And we said earlier that these Manchester City players are a team of champions. They've shown it so often. They really need to show it right now in this game with 19 minutes to go. O'Reilly holds off his man. Now Doku towards Nico O'Reilly, and that's where you need quality and cool heads, and he's just got way too much on it. It's out for a goal kick.
Just huffing and puffing at the moment. Like you say, when you're trying to show your championship qualities, now is the time. In the last 15-20 minutes, now is the time for them to just calm down in the final third and do the things they've been doing all season.
Arsenal are getting closer, 18 minutes and counting. They've only waited over 2 decades. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? And the Arsenal team won the league back in 2004, the invincible season. But they'd wait this long. Not over yet though. Manchester City have it with Savinho, edge of the area. Bournemouth lead 1-0. Phil Brown alongside us, former Premier League boss on BBC Radio Manchester. Rodri to the byline, right-footed ball in, doesn't drop for Haaland though, scrambled away by Alex Scott for Bournemouth. Kusanov's header straight into touch.
Great defending that by Alex Scott, absolutely fantastic. It was O'Reilly that came underneath the ball, but he dragged all the centre-halves underneath it. I'm expecting a big fella, Haaland at the back post to burst the net.
Really good ball from Mark Gay to Phil Foden, who turns away from Scott. Now it's Cherki with the yellow boots. Ryan Cherki, he's been brilliant all season. Manchester City need him here. Now it's Doku. Cherki just inside the D. Now it is Cherki. Tries to find the angle for the shot. He strikes it left-footed, deflects away. Couple of ricochets out for a corner.
Dare I say it, Mark, it's coming. Dare I say it, what a chance this will be if Man City do score a goal. You might see a totally different game for the last 15 minutes.
Fingers crossed, that is what's going to happen. 17 minutes to go. Bournemouth lead by 1-0. City have a corner. Cherki will take it. Right-footed. Ryan Cherki's ball in. Scott's up with a header. Bournemouth haven't cleared it though. He nearly ends up on the deck. Clears it against his own man, Truffet. City still in there with O'Reilly and Rodri. And then in the end, Tavernier carries it away. And then just breezes past Savinho. And Tavernier with an excellent ball into midfield. Evan Nielsen. Superb hold-up play by Evan Nielsen, the big number 9 for Bournemouth. That was excellent, just what they needed.
Top draw, Tavernier, calm, coming out of defence. Left-footed pass into a striker who held the ball up. Now Bournemouth on the attack.
Omar Marmoush preparing to come on for City. Bournemouth enjoying themselves down this left-hand side. Really good again from the fullback, Adrian Truffet, who's won his team another corner. So Marmoush for City coming on. And also we're going to see Justin Kluivert for Bournemouth in the next couple of minutes.
Who's he bringing off for Marmoush? This is interesting, because all the advanced positions apart from Doku have been replaced. Obviously you've got Haaland down the middle. Surely it can't be Doku or Haaland.
Well, you wouldn't think so with the Premier League title on the line.
Kluivert coming off the bench for them, that's not a bad one neither.
Bournemouth corner, the Cherries lead courtesy of Junior Krupi's stunner 6 minutes before the break. Scott's corner to the far post, that's got too much on it for everyone despite the attempts of James Hill at the back stick, and it's out for a City goal kick. 15 minutes to go.
They often say first one to blink or last one to blink, and at the moment Pep Guardiola's got 15 minutes left of his title race and he's going to make a change. He's bringing Cherki over. What's this all about? It's got to be Doku coming off.
The changes for Manchester City, well, we're just waiting to see. It's Kluivert who's coming on for Krupi for Bournemouth, and it's going to be, it is Doku coming off for City.
He was dragging Cherki over for a bit of information. It looks like Marmoush is going to play behind Haaland, and Cherki's going to play on the right hand side with Phil Foden on the left.
So Cherki, Marmoush, Foden, Haaland and Savinho all out on the pitch. This is it for Manchester City. They've got to throw one last roll of the dice at it in the last 15 minutes.
Very well put, Mark. This is it. 15 minutes to go of normal play, plus a little bit of extra time, I would imagine. If it goes to 2-0, it's party over. If it goes to 1-1, it's game on, title on.
Well, remember when City beat Arsenal at the Etihad not so long ago? There was a banner which was unveiled that said "Panic on the streets of London." There's going to be a party on the streets of London tonight if it stays like this. Savinho's cross this time deflects off Smith, and City have got a corner themselves.
That's more like it. From a goal kick to a corner in the space of about 10-15 seconds. That's better from Man City. Now the ball's going to go in this penalty box with a little bit of quality from Cherki. Anything can happen.
Cherki will go across to take the corner. 15 assists this season. What about one here? In it comes, headed away. Ryan hooks it left-footed up towards halfway. Mateus Nunes back to Cherki. Crossing position on the City left. 6 yards outside the box. This one's whipped in on his right foot. Half cleared. Savinho hooks it out of the air. Will now try and create the angle for a cross. Good ball from Savinho. Senesi's up against O'Reilly. Wins the header. Bournemouth haven't cleared it. They have now. Adam Smith gets his left foot on it. Manchester City, through Phil Foden, retrieve possession as Guardiola stands with his hands behind his back, watching on. Is the title slipping away here? Rodri, first time, out to Cherki. On the right, chance for him to run at that Bournemouth back line. Cherki doesn't really have the space though, and he goes back to Mateus Nunes, and it skips off the turf past him, and City have forced another 10 yards backwards. Cherki again hovering, wants the ball. Nunes inverts again, and now he'll find Ryan Cherki. Carries it towards the edge of the box. Oh, Trifo's expecting the cross, sold himself. Cherki does now cross it towards Foden on the penalty spot. And Bournemouth managed to scramble it clear, but that's a poor clearance by Tavernier. Drops to Rodri. Oh, if City could find the equaliser now, we really would have a brilliant last 10-15 minutes. Savinho on the outside of Ryan. There's the cross towards O'Reilly, who got up, and the goalkeeper's dropped it. Oh, he's caught it at the second attempt.
O'Reilly in the 6-yard box. The ball's getting crossed in on the left-hand side by Saviola, and O'Reilly's in that 6-yard box. He's desperate to score a goal, but most of the City players are at the moment. Finally poised this last 10-15 minutes. If City can get a goal early enough, who knows?
Half-time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Spurs 0. So at the moment, the battle for the drop between Spurs and West Ham will go to the final day of the Premier League season. As who's gone down on the far side? That's Savinho. He's been given a push in the back, so it will be a free kick to Manchester City. Remember, Spurs host Everton on the last day of the season. West Ham host Leeds. 2 points between them at the moment. Here's Rodri for City. He's brought down. That'll be a free kick. That should be a yellow card, I think, there, but Bournemouth have got away with it. Foden carries it away for City. He's got a really good record, incidentally, Phil Foden, in matches against Bournemouth. He's scored or assisted in 6 of the last 7. He does enjoy playing against them. Oh, there's Mateus Nunes round Senesi. Low ball in. Oh, really important interception by James Hill with Marmoush in there.
Absolute quality defending, by the way. Absolute quality defending. You could say the fullback should have put a better ball in, but I tell you what, he's got to be able to cross the ball between the centre half and the goalkeeper, and he hit the first man. That's poor play from Nunes.
As Evan Nielsen helps it out to Ryan, left-hand side. Tavernier wants it played early. He doesn't. He'll go back to Alex Scott. 10.5 minutes to go. This is Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester, live at the Vitality on the South Coast. City trail 1-0, and you know what that means. It means that the title race will be over in the next 15 to 20 minutes unless they can find 2 goals to beat a Bournemouth team that haven't lost in the Premier League since right back at the start of January. Sensational.
Absolute quality. You can tell by the way they're playing with a lot of confidence, but you're talking 80 minutes on the clock now. The tempo of the game is still as good as it's still as high as what it was at the start. It's an absolute testament to the Premier League. The fitness levels of the players are outstanding after 46 games.
But since that Nico O'Reilly chance just after half-time, City haven't really created a clear-cut opportunity, you wouldn't say. Ball up to Erling Haaland on the halfway line. He's held off by Senesi and slips over, and Bournemouth pick up the loose ball. Evan Nielsen lays it off. Tyler Adams back to Evan Nielsen, who's had an excellent game, you have to say, as the Brazilian striker.
Absolutely.
Roll back to James Hill. Well, it's not what Manchester City fans want to hear listening back home, but at the moment it feels like it's a long way back in this game. Ball down the line by Senesi. Kusanov should be able to hold off his man. and that is out eventually for a goal kick, despite the best efforts of the substitute Cliver.
Look at the pressure he's been put under. There's a ball played in the channel in the last minutes of the game, 10 to go, and Kuzanov's trying to shepherd it out for a goal kick. And I tell you what, he's put under immense pressure. It's been a brilliant performance from Bournemouth's perspective.
Foden to Rodri, now Savinho. Foden wanted it back, Savinho didn't give it him back, and now Ryan has it just in front of the travelling Manchester City supporters. Free kick given for a shirt tug by Rodri. He's not happy with the decision, and he lets Anthony Taylor know about it.
Absolutely, he's been rewarded 3 or 4 times from little shirt pulls, little shirt tugs, and he's just done one himself, and he's been penalised. It's almost sarcastic towards Anthony Taylor, but Taylor's been passive active with regards to the referee, and he's done his job.
Listen to the noise around the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth so close to history and a place in Europe next season. They are on the brink. Remember, a win here guarantees a top 6 finish, plus it gives them a chance of overtaking Liverpool on the last day of the season to qualify for the Champions League. 5th place in the Champions League this season. You finish 6th, you're in the Europa League, or you're in the Champions League if Aston Villa finish 5th and they win tomorrow night in that Europa League final against Freiburg. 7th is the Europa League, and 8th, because City won the FA Cup, is the Conference League. I hope you're following, Phil Brown.
I'm glad I've looked at your screen and you're reading it.
I'm not reading it, it's all up here, Phil.
Absolutely brilliant.
Rodri's got it. 7.5 minutes to go. Oh, you feel there's more in this for City. Come on, Phil Foden. Now Marmouche. Oh, he's clipped. Free kick.
Either one, free kick on Phil Foden or free kick on Marmouche. I'll still keep on saying it. 1 goal gets you 2, because the whole atmosphere in the stadium will change completely. It's been brilliant for Bournemouth. The home crowd have been absolutely outstanding, 100% behind that team, and probably the reason why they're winning games of football. But 1 goal gets you 2.
David Brooks is about to come on for Bournemouth, and Ryan is going off. Another player who's had a brilliant month or so. 3 goals. Well, goals in the last 3 games for Bournemouth before today. Could have had one in the second half. He's hit the post. Guardiola is almost on the pitch at the moment, trying to get instructions across to Manchester City.
I think it's to Marmouche. He's telling him to play the number 10 role. But he's got that many number 10s out there.
Haaland's trying to get a message back to the manager. The body language isn't great from Erling Haaland at the moment, clearly frustrated. And he's still looking at Guardiola. He's now head down on the touchline. Free kick, Phil Foden will take this. 15 yards into the Bournemouth half. In it goes towards Rodri. Drifts over him. Bournemouth players down. They'll waste a little bit more time, and the clock continues to tick away. 6 minutes to go, plus stoppages, until the party can start in North London. Well, the red half of North London, not in the other half at the moment.
I tell you what, you're looking at a team that I've just watched Rodri, and I tell you what, he's been an absolute legend for Man City, and he's just the one man they try to hit. And I'm thinking, what's Erling Haaland doing? The size of him, he's looking for the spills or the second ball, but what the 2 centre-halves doing? If the ball's coming in, you've only got one person to hit. I think Bournemouth have defended that one very well, to tell you the truth.
Remember, it was a couple of 8th place finishes for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal when he got the job at the Emirates. 5th, and then 3 second place finishes. It's felt it's coming, or has been coming for quite a while, and I think Noel Gallagher's seen enough. He seems to be heading for the exit. He thinks that it's slipping away, and he's going to make an early dart.
No champagne supernova with this fella.
That's why we pay you the big bucks, Phil.
Absolutely, looks like it's party over for him.
Ball down the line to Evan Nielsen. Yeah, Noel Gallagher heading towards the exit, as I'm sure plenty of City fans will be soon. They still trail 1-0, 5 minutes to go. We've watched a lot of football between us. Crazy things can happen.
Yes.
But this Bournemouth team are so well drilled. It feels unlikely in the way that the game has gone tonight. But here's Foden, you never know. Long ball up towards Erling Haaland. Smith's back there. Good header back from him. The goalkeeper will come out, lets it bounce Petrovic, and collects it at the second attempt and rolls it out to Adrien Truffert, who plays it in to Cliver, who's held off by Kusanov. Guardiola still applauds his team. He's not given up. 4 minutes to go. Bournemouth lead by a 1-0. And Smith's back on his feet. He was limping.
You could name probably 3 or 4, probably more, man of the matches for Bournemouth, and they've been in the straight force, you would imagine, but the fullbacks and the defenders, they've defended valiantly against the most potent team in the division at the moment. Absolutely brilliant performance from Bournemouth.
He's done some job, the manager, hasn't he?
100%.
They're really going to miss him, and he's out there, bottle of water in hand, and his black jumper takes another swig from it. Andoni Iraola heads back towards the Bournemouth technical area, and the noise is coming from the Cherry supporters inside the Vitality. One of their greatest ever seasons. Their greatest ever season. Long ball forward towards Marmoush, held off by Truefair. Bournemouth haven't cleared it. Haaland involved. Bournemouth felt that he'd committed a foul there on Adam Smith. Referee Anthony Taylor didn't agree. Now it's the first touch for Brooks. Evan Nilsson will turn just inside his own half. Challenged by O'Reilly. Oh, it's a soft free kick. Conceded by Manchester City. Evan Nilsson wins it though. They get the decision. And Guardiola stands arms folded, head down, as the Premier League title appears to be slipping away from him and his team with 2.5 minutes to go.
Looking likely now. The man on the ball, Scott, I tell you what, he's just played the cheekiest chip out of defence and took the pressure right off his team. He's been outstanding as a player. Brilliant.
Ball forward, O'Reilly heads it away. And David Brooks will just let that drift out. The City boss just runs his fingers down the back of his neck. It's been incredible. An incredible 10 years in charge. 17 major trophies, 20 in all. The treble, the Centurions, 4 titles in a row. But it doesn't look like there's going to be another here. Brooks to finish it, and he should have finished it. First time ball in, he had plenty of time, left-footed, low down, saved by Donnarumma.
Another chance, it would have put everybody out their misery. 88 minutes on the clock. Phil Foden's just been caught in possession.
This is not going the way Manchester City wanted. Evan Nilsson, left-footed, just flashes wide.
It's not ending the right way at all. It's one-way traffic, Bournemouth's way at the moment, and he's making changes, the manager. Bring a couple of substitutions on, and there'll be fresh legs coming on. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, a couple of changes on the way, and Evan Nilsson's coming off, and
what a player.
Yeah, he's got to be in with a shout for man of the match tonight. He's been excellent, and he gets a brilliant reception from supporters all around the Vitality Stadium. And the player coming on is the Turkish international Enes Ünal. And Adam Smith as well, the skipper, is going off. Anthony Taylor telling him to do it with a little more speed. And the player coming on is returning Lewis Cook for Bournemouth. Guardiola's not happy. He wants this playing long when the game restarts. We're in the final 60 seconds. It's been a long, long season. Manchester City have pushed Arsenal almost all the way, but it looks like they're not going to push them to the very last. Mikel Arteta's team will soon be able to celebrate becoming champions. Long ball forward from Donnarumma, headed down. Mateus Nunes hooks it over his head to Foden, bounces up, nodded away by Senesi. Oh, the ball's on for Brooks. He's clean through to Bournemouth to seal it. Brooks, oh, he's hit the post. Right-footed strike. He rolled it past Donnarumma, but it's kissed the upright. And Manchester City are living extremely dangerously here, Phil Brown.
Game over. That should have been game over.
That's two chances he's just missed.
2 unbelievable chances. He just came off the bench and he's got himself straight into the game. City are playing, well, last-ditch attack.
6 minutes of injury time. Savinho with a cross, comes off Cook, the substitute. That'll be a corner to Manchester City.
Goal kick.
Oh, Anthony Taylor's overruled it.
Yeah.
He's given a goal kick. Nico O'Reilly, Rodri, Marmoush and Mark Gay all round the referee. They can't believe that. Ryan Cherky goes and puts the ball on the 6-yard line for Petrovic. And David Brooks really should have sealed this. 2 big chances in the matter of minutes. One saved by Donnarumma and one against the post.
To be fair, the front 4 have been outstanding tonight, and now they've replaced them. Apart from Tavernier, replaced them, and they've brought even as good as, if not better, off the bench. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they can sell players at this level.
Headed on by Mark Gay. Well, contrasting emotions inside this stadium right now for these two teams. Bournemouth on their way to Europe for the first time in this club's history. And Manchester City are going to miss out on the Premier League title for the second season in a row. Pep Guardiola said consistently during the early part of the season that this team still had a long way to go to win the title, but it felt, didn't it, in the last few weeks, especially when they beat Arsenal at the Etihad, that it was very much on. But it's turned out, Phil Brown, that Arsenal have just had a bit too much.
Just a bit. They've won too many games 1-0 towards the end, and it used to be 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's been their... It's not been their characteristic way of winning things, but when they win things 1-0, Rodri's having a little set too with Kluivert.
Boiling over between Rodri and Justin Kluivert. City got the free kick for a foul on Rodri. And then there was a bit of afters with both players on the deck. And now Anthony Taylor's just going for his pocket. I imagine this will just be a yellow card each. The pushing and shoving seems to have stopped. Erling Haaland's trying to get Cherki away from things. Donnarumma's come off his line, pointing and shouting at someone as he does. City have the free kick, and Guardiola wants them to play it short here, I think he's saying.
He's been wanting them to hit the front man for the last 10 minutes, and all of a sudden he wants them to play it short. This is going into the big fella.
It is. Donnarumma towards Haaland, headed up in the air by Alex Scott, who's had another great game. Rodri flicks it on towards O'Reilly, comes out. Oh, is that a penalty? Free kick to Manchester City right on the edge of the area. Anthony Taylor had no hesitation about that. Rodri's the player who's gone down.
He hasn't got back up neither.
No, he's down on his back. It was an aerial challenge. He landed pretty awkwardly. He is up now, Rodri. As we get the benefit of a replay on our monitor here, it was Kluivert straight in on Rodri, the two players that were just involved a moment ago.
That's close.
That is close to being inside the area, I have to say.
With VAR, that is close. But he looks like he's given a free kick.
He does.
Unless he's waiting for the VAR.
Well, I don't think he is, because the Bournemouth players are now in their wall. We've got the draft excluder down as well. The player on the ground, Tavernier, behind the wall, as Petrovic just arranges that wall, and Guardiola watches on from the dugout. City have a free kick in the final seconds here. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time left at the Vitality. This needs to go in. Simple as that, Phil.
A lot of pressure on this taker. A lot of pressure on it. Everybody's in front of the ball.
Omar Marmoush will hit it right-footed into the wall. It drops. Phil Foden completely misses his kick. Cherki loses the ball on the edge of the D, and Bournemouth can break as play is over. Bournemouth can seal it here. Here goes Kluivert over the halfway line. Oh, he's given it away. Marmoush has won it back for City. Foden collects it. Bournemouth lead 1-0. 2 minutes to go of the 6 added. The title is slipping away. Manchester City need to score twice in 2 minutes to take the title race to the last day of the season. It seems impossible. Cherki, left-footed ball, stands it up, flicked on by O'Reilly. Kusanov's header inside the area. Haaland heads it down towards Foden. Ball drops. Oh, it comes to Rodri, who hits it. He's hit the post. Haaland on the rebound. It's in. Erling Haaland scores in off the post. Manchester City equalise, and there's still time. They need another 90 seconds to go. City are level, Bournemouth 1, City 1.
That's unbelievable, by the way. I don't think Erling Haaland has played as poorly as what he has today, and he's had one half chance there, and he's smashed it off the far post into the bottom corner. Now looks like City have got 1.5 minutes of the season to keep it alive.
What a finish that is from Haaland on the replay. Rodri's shot deflected, hit the post, came out to him. He wrapped that left boot around it and curled it in off the far post. It's 1-1. City need to get the ball back. We're into the 96th minute. There will be a bit of time surely to be added because of that. O'Reilly just needs to get the ball down the pitch. Arsenal fans watching on. They're nearly there, but not quite. Bournemouth have it back. Kusanov wins it. Now it's Marmoush. He goes down, free kick. City can load this into the box. Yellow card dished out by the referee. Oh, my word. Imagine if this goes in, Phil.
Well, Donnarumma's half thinking about it. I would be putting him in there. Cherki wants to play it short. What's he doing trying to play it short? This has got to go in.
This has to.
Come on, Cherki.
The final final moments. Now Donnarumma gets the nod. He starts to run forward. Cherki clips it in. City need a goal. O'Reilly wins the header. It drops inside the Bournemouth box. Tavernier hooks it over his shoulder. Two players converge on Mateus Nunes, who wins the header. Savinho collects the loose ball. He'll take it round his man. Brilliant from Savinho. Down the left-hand side for City. Into the area, the Brazilian. Cherki wants it rolled back. Rodri hits it. It's blocked. Bournemouth should clear it. Now they've got a man over. If they clip it forward towards Kluivert, he's on his own on the halfway line. He'll play it to the right-hand side. It's a really poor ball from Kluivert. The game still goes on. Andoni Iraola complains on the touchline. The referee blows the whistle. And the race is run. For the first time in over 2 decades, the Premier League trophy is heading back to North London. Arsenal are Premier League champions and Manchester City fall short. 4 or 5 City players lie on the ground, heads in hands. O'Reilly's down, Kusanov's down, Foden as well. Bournemouth have made it to Europe. They celebrate. Evan Nielsen and Andoni Iraola exchange a big hug on the touchline, and Pep Guardiola walks into the middle of the pitch at the Vitality Stadium. He's heading over, Phil Brown, I think, to the referee, or maybe to get Donnarumma away from the referee.
Possibly. Listen, it has to be said, congratulations Arsenal, absolutely brilliant season. They've had a fantastic time of it at this, it has to be said, he's been waiting long and hard if you're an Arsenal supporter, but City gave it their best, City gave it their all, and what's supposedly a poor season, they've got the FA Cup in the bag and they've got the League Cup in the bag.
Pep Guardiola does get Donnarumma away from the referee, at least temporarily, and he's still having to be restrained as the City goalkeeper. And now Guardiola walks around the pitch, shakes hands with all the Bournemouth players, as he does. And now the Manchester City players, led by Cherki, go over to their fans on the far side. They've won the FA Cup, they've won the Carabao Cup, but they won't be winning the Premier League this season. And as Phil says, congratulations to Mikel Arteta and to Arsenal. They've won the Premier League and they've still got a Champions League final to come.
It's brilliant, honestly. It really has been a fabulous season for part of North London, as you say. Spurs are awaiting their fate tonight. That could possibly go to the last game of the season, but the pressure's been relieved of Arsenal. They can have a nice easy game of the last game of the season because City didn't do their end of the bargain. Now it has to be said, they didn't do their end of the bargain because of the performance by Bournemouth.
Well, I'm watching this closely. Guardiola and his players stand in front of the supporters. Guardiola applauds them. He stood at the back of the City fans. There are banners being held up saying Pep stay, and Guardiola has walked away from that quite quickly, Phil Brown. The players are all still stood there facing the supporters, but Guardiola has turned away. There wasn't going to be any kind of big wave or goodbye there from the City manager, and it looks like he'll be the first one down the tunnel.
Listen, what's going through that man's mind at the moment, whether it has been leaked out rightly or wrongly, it doesn't matter. He knows the game, he knows the deal with regards to football management, and it's worked brilliant for him over his career, and certainly in the last 10 years where Man City are concerned. Nobody can question him. If he's walked away from there early, it's maybe because he doesn't want them final farewells, as in he wants to say goodbye properly, if that's going to be the goodbye that comes on the last game of the season or when they do the parade on the Monday. That's his call.
He's walked down the tunnel already. The City players are still out there in front of their supporters, and the Bournemouth players, even though they've not won the game in the end, are heading for Europe. There's a big graphic on the screens all around the stadium that says Europe awaits. Bournemouth are heading to Europe, and Manchester City have fallen short in the title race. It was interesting, Phil, before the game, wasn't it? We spoke about whether it was a distraction, the fact that the night before this game, the news appears to have come out that Pep was going to be leaving. Clearly not the ideal preparation.
Mark, I think Pep's analogy of the game, it's like going to the dentist when you play these And I understand what he means by that. You look at Bournemouth, the way they play. Nobody expects little old Bournemouth anymore. Nobody expects little old Brighton or little old Brentford. These are well-run football clubs. And Bournemouth tonight were absolutely outstanding against the champions that Man City have been over the last 10 years. Who knows? They could even grace the Premier League and be champions of that next year. But with a change of management, I would suggest that would be a change of fate. But you would never know, because clubs like this are run properly, not just from one man, from a group of people. And that's what Bournemouth look like.
Yeah. Well, the Bournemouth players are still out there with their supporters enjoying the moment as the Manchester City players begin to trudge off towards the tunnel down below us. 0800 218 2255 is the number if you'd like to speak to Phil Brown between now and 10. Tell us how you're feeling after this incredible finish here and how you're feeling about the season as a whole. Donnarumma, head down, walks off. I think Phil Foden might even be the last player off the pitch. And the City players now slowly make their way off, and the Bournemouth players stay out there, and I imagine the manager Andoni Iraola will make a speech shortly. But the final whistle on, and now, Alex, we wait to see what Pep Guardiola says when he speaks to the media after the game. Full time here, Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 1. Arsenal are the champions.
Yeah, for the first time in 22 years for the Gunners. Panic on the streets of London to a party on the streets of London. A stretch too far, though, for Manchester City, but only just. Phil Brown, those City players some of them look quite close to tears as they were applauding those travelling supporters, particularly Rodri. Mark Gahey as well had his hands over his face too.
Every season that comes along, Alex, is tinged with glory or sadness, and there's been a lot of glorious moments for Man City over the last 10 years, and there's been one or two glorious moments this season as well. To take it to the last game was all they had to do. Whoa, hold on a second. You're playing Bournemouth at Bournemouth, who haven't been beaten since January. And it's just a brilliant analogy of the world of Premier League football, what Bournemouth, well-organised team, can actually achieve. City are boasting one of their players who didn't show up in the first half, to tell you the truth, Semenyo. But he had a great game at Wembley on Saturday. So there's highs and lows when it comes down to these moments. But when you see tears, are they tears of joy, sadness? Are they tears of regret? There's lots of reasons why you can see grown men and players cry at the end of a game. But it's down to maybe not quite doing enough to achieve the title again. That's my only analogy of it.
Yeah, 0800 218 2255. We're here till 10 o'clock and the Late Show with Becky One Blues. If you want to come and talk to Phil Brown about taking it this late into the season, but what cost you? Maybe it was those draws back in January that might have done it as well. And of course, your reaction to the news that Pep Guardiola looks like he is going to leave the club. Now that could happen, obviously, on the last day of the season on Sunday. They've got the parade as well on Monday too, which will be just a domestic double this time around. And as you say, Phil, on tonight, firstly, Bournemouth hit the woodwork twice. They had to force Donnarumma into a couple of brilliant saves as well. They could have had 2 or 3. They were superb.
If Bournemouth had won the game 1-0, they would have deserved it, to tell you the truth. I thought, we're looking at the chances that Man City created in the second half. They came out all guns blazing in the second half, and I think it was O'Reilly had the best chance, and the keeper pulls off a great save. He's there for that reason, obviously. But after that, Man City didn't really ask too many serious questions, And I think they were sort of getting... when you talk about great coaches and having the ability to maintain that level of performance right the way through the season, I thought City got a little bit lost 20-25 minutes into the game, started hitting long balls over the top, going in behind. They weren't playing the lovely football that they've been playing all season. Consequently, it's down to the fact that they're frustrated because the team that they were playing against were resilient. They were organised. They were stopping and preventing, Man City getting into any kind of gear. And rightly so, that's their job, So every credit to Bournemouth today. Every credit.
Too many loose touches from City as well in that second half. Do you think there's a little bit of fatigue catching up with them from the FA Cup on Saturday, and maybe as well, you touched on it with Mark, but the events of the past 24 hours?
Yeah, very much so. I've got to say, as a game as big as what the FA Cup final used to be, being on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, then playing 7:30 on a Tuesday night. I thought, hello. Normally you get a tirade of abuse from the big managers saying that, we're not getting enough breathing space, we're not getting enough time in between games. Leggy performances were probably one of the reasons why City have got beat today. It was a lacklustre performance in its entirety, but it has to be said to come up against one of the better teams in the Premier League. But, 2 days rest in between playing at Wembley in the FA Cup final, that's going to be a leggy performance, on Tuesday night. So, only making 2 changes. I'm not going to throw questions at one of the greatest coaches that's ever graced the Premier League, but only made a couple of changes. Donnarumma came back in, and obviously he left Marmoush out and put an extra man in midfield. So it was a tactical thing, and it has to be said, I think the way Bournemouth played football tonight, and I know they had 10-14 days to prepare for this game, they were a better team because they had more legs and more energy than City.
And those subs came in the 55th minute, made a triple change. To Pep, Foden, Cherki, Savino coming on as well. And they were, I think you said it was 6 or 7 minutes until Foden got his first touch on the ball. Yeah, and Cherki was not far off that as well. Listen, I'm never going to question, as I say, Pep's made 3 changes and he's tried to make an impact. And I watched recently, I was at the Millwall Hull City game, and a manager made a couple of subs at the wrong time of the game, and it worked against him. Now, I'm not saying they were the wrong time of the game. He just made 3 subs and he brought 3 ball players on because he was being outplayed. He was trying to arrest the situation with the ball. Now that's not normally a Pep Guardiola situation. You don't normally find your teams in that tight situation, but he did tonight because Bournemouth are a good footballing team. They weren't just playing counter-attacking football. They had a back 4 that could defend for their lives, and then the rest of the front 6, if you talk about the midfield 4 and the front 2, they could handle the ball as well as any Man City player tonight. There are hundreds of Arsenal fans celebrating on the streets of North London at the moment. You see some pictures on my TV screen here of them in jubilation. As for Manchester City, of course, it game too far. They couldn't take the title race down to that final game of the season. And just a few more on tonight, Phil, because it was a moment of quality by Krupi as well. It cost just £10 million, by the way, as well for Bournemouth. I mean, he's had some season for them. And Truefair as well, sort of killing City really down that left-hand side. I mean, they were an example of that fast and direct play that can hurt Manchester City. Yeah, very much. But if you say Krupi only 10 million, guaranteed if Bournemouth get an offer for 35-40 million from anybody, from Man City, he's gone. End of story. There'll be an exit clause in it. That's more important than the entrance clause. And that's what they're doing here. They're promoting and producing players that are playing Premier League football and playing at a great level, but they've got a team of them. I'm just looking at every player tonight. Probably to a man were better than the Man City players, but that can, as I say, be down to leggy performance from Wembley, etc, etc. Listen, I'm not here to slaughter anybody. City just fell short of an Arsenal team that go back to the 90s, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and not just that, set pieces. That's what's won the title for Arsenal. 1-0 wins, so clean sheets and set pieces. Sam Allardyce used to be brought up on that at Bolton Wanderers, and it gets you into the Premier League and beyond. But now we're talking at the top table of English football, and Man City have been there long enough. And Pep Guardiola for 10 years. If he exits, he's exiting with a 2-trophy season. That ain't a bad exit, by the way. No, certainly not. He'd have wanted all 3 there, of course. We'll hope to hear from him before 10 o'clock. Still unbeaten domestically since the Manchester derby in January, by the way, Manchester City. But you mentioned there the clean sheets from Arsenal, the 1-0, the set pieces as well, and City, they had some costly moments and the fine margins. The draw at Everton, of course, a few weeks ago at the start of May. They also drew at West Ham and at home to Nottingham Forest, and of course threw away that 2-0 lead at Spurs earlier in the season. So those are the opportunities, aren't they, that now we're going to be picking over and being like, that there was the moments as to what's cost them the title. That's football, though. Alex, that is football in its entirety. Everybody can look back, but the best managers look forward. The best managers look to try and improve the standard of play, the standard of player that is exiting the club. They want to bring a better one in, and that's what Pep's done for the last 10 years. So we can't really question the guy for a draw at Spurs way back in February. I was at that game, and they were 2-0 up. It could have been 5 at half-time. But Spurs made a change at half-time, took off one of their worst players,
and made a big difference because they just went to a flat back four and hit the front man. And strange enough, Man City couldn't deal with it. Now I think there's certain ways of trying to beat Pep Guardiola, and when one person finds that one out, everybody looks at that and go, well, can we do that? Can we do that, you know? And maybe if he is leaving the Premier League, maybe Pep is leaving on the back of maybe I am getting caught. Maybe people are catching me up, and I'm not saying that for 1 minute. He's standing still. He's been going forward like a juggernaut for 10 years, and he's been uncatchable, and his players have been uncatchable. But now all of a sudden his assistant manager is at Arsenal now, and he's caught him.
He spoke last year, Brownie, was his hardest, you know, at Manchester City, did Pep Guardiola. I mean, this year though, you did see a bit of a rejuvenation, you know, the signings of Guehi and Semenyo in the January window as well. You know, there are, if this is his last game on Sunday, you know, there are building blocks. Yes, Bernardo and John Stone's leaving, but there is a younger cohort of players as well that he's brought through. Nico Riley as well. Yeah, very much. Listen, it's almost like the king is dead, long live the king, you know. We're talking about a guy who hasn't died yet, you know. He hasn't moved on, he hasn't decided on his future yet. It's just been leaked out, and to be talking about him in that manner is a bit disrespectful of me as a coach, because I would hate it if it was happening to me. But at the same time, something's leaked out. That's the reason why from box to box tonight there was the press along this pitch that I couldn't believe how many people were here. And yes, there was a title to be had, won or lost, whichever the case may be. And they would have turned up again on Sunday because Man City had done their end of the bargain and kept it alive. That's not the case. So now the whole focus is on Pep and what he's doing. And is he finishing on Sunday? Is it his last game for Man City? And if it is, come on, what a fantastic job he's done for Manchester. Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea double their lead at home to Tottenham, so it looks like the battle at the relegation will go down to the final game of the season. Spurs, a point tonight would have been enough to see them safe for next season. They will take on Everton in the last game, and then West Ham host Leeds United. Right then, off air at 10 o'clock, so chance to get your calls in. 0800 218 2255. Colin's done that. He's in Withenshaw. Colin, how are you feeling after that? Just a step too far for City.
Yeah, look, it's been the news over the last 24 hours. I think if it's confirmed, everybody's absolutely gutted, but a transitional season. We've won 2 trophies, and according to everybody in the media, we're really poor this season. Really poor this season, but we finished second. If we were in Arsenal's position, we would have won that league 3 months ago. They just couldn't get rid of us, and we took them to the penultimate game. So, look, we go into Sunday's game. We're not worrying about results elsewhere. We can say goodbye to Bernardo. We can say goodbye to Johnny Stones, and maybe, who knows? No, nothing's confirmed yet. We might be saying goodbye to Pep, but whatever happens, 2 trophies and we move on.
Yeah, good point there, Colin. Brownie, in terms of the transitional season this was meant to be.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Colin spoke very well there. I think that's very well put, to tell you the truth. And you don't, honestly, football never ceases to amaze you. It's just a wonderful game, isn't it? Chelsea getting their new manager and going in that direction just shows you what money can do. I think where Pep's concerned, he loves Manchester. He loves Manchester City. He loves Manchester people. And it's going to take a lot to prise him away from it. If he thinks for 1 minute, Colin, that the media are responsible for taking it away from him, he won't do it.
No, and look, it's another. We have a big game, and for a change, it wasn't a story about 115 charges. It was Pep's going. We'll see what his post-match interview says. But look, if he goes, he goes. I mean, I'm gutted. I saw something earlier which said comparing Pep leaving to your wife leaving you, and thankfully she's gone upstairs so she can't hear this. Pep leaving is far worse than your wife leaving you. Absolutely devastated. But what a 10 years he's given us. I was at Wembley in 1999, and if someone would have said to me, you'll see City win 4 in a row, you'll see them do a domestic treble, which Fergie said was impossible, you'll do 100 points, you'll do this, you'll do that, I think I would have been locked away somewhere.
Colin, I've lived in the Northwest for a long time, and when I was at Bolton Wanderers, and the City fans are remarkable people. Brian Horton's one of my biggest mates in the game, and back in the 90s you'd have taken what Pep Guardiola's given you for the last 10 years, wouldn't you?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I'm really fortunate. I was there in '99, and that was one of the best days of my life. And what I've seen since is just eclipsed that. And I've got a lad who has just grown up, knowing Manchester City winning trophy after trophy after trophy. Look, we've been privileged, and if he is going, he's going. But we get behind whoever comes in. And do you know what? It's not the end of the story at Manchester City. We're going to go on, and we're going to continue to win trophies.
It's that perspective, isn't it, Brownie, that Colin's putting over so well in terms of where this club have been. You know, if you go back and you're a generation of a fan who don't remember these highs.
Very, very much so. Generational fan is so important, you know, because whatever I do now, I know I'm going to affect my son, I'm going to affect my grandchildren, into how I support, who I support, how I talk about the club, you know, remembering back in the 90s and the 80s, and all of these things need to be passed on generational. It's just so important that the next generation of City fans understand the hardship that we went through, maybe in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s, whichever the case may be. And then they've got to thank the blessings that somebody like Pep Guardiola's came along and possibly is going to be replaced by somebody like Maresca, who knows, but whoever does come along, it has to be continuous now. It has to be of the same manner, you know. Football has to be played in the same way, and the money has to be invested in the same way. And where that's concerned, you know, City's women winning trophies, City's under 18s winning trophies, the youths are coming through. All of these things are part and parcel of Pep Guardiola's regime.
And is that part of the reason, Colin, why you might go do you want Enzo Maresca?
Listen, I don't know. Who do you get? It's when Fergie left. I always say that he appointed Moyes so he didn't ruin his legacy. I think this is totally different. Ferguson left Manchester United with an ageing team. He stayed a year too long because of what we did to him when we won the league when Aguero scored. This is a totally different football club to Manchester United. The infrastructure's there. Maresca understands the club. People in the club know him. It's a totally different scenario. So whoever comes in, and I do think if Pep is going, it is going to be Maresca. I think that's nailed on. He'll do well. You look at what we've done over the last 2 years in bringing down the average age of our squad. You look at the players that's there. For me, Kusanov, what a player. He could go on to be one of the best central defenders in the world. We've done it right. Obviously, we'll see what happens with 115. But where we are, I'm happy. I'm not happy Pep's leaving, but we've had a decent season. We took Arsenal to the penultimate game. If we were Arsenal and the Manchester City of old, we would have put Arsenal away 3 months ago.
Colin, really appreciate your call, mate. Have a good night. 0800 218 2255, the number if you want to have your say. The Bournemouth players, Evan Ilson coming out applauding the fans. It's their last home game of the season for the Cherries. And a reminder that 1-1 draw means that they're guaranteed a spot in European football for the first time in their history as well. At one point tonight, and if they can hang on and you know, maybe improve that position as well, it could be Champions League football as well for Andoni Iraola's side, who expect them to speak very shortly on the Vitality Stadium turf. Tottenham have got a goal back at Chelsea. Richarlison with it in the 74th minute. A point for them, remember, is enough for survival in the Premier League. We're aimed to try and bring you the post-match thoughts of Pep Guardiola very shortly. 10 o'clock, your chance to have your say. That's what Emily has done, who's been across this one at home in Widnes. Emily, your thoughts on tonight's City just missing out on the title going to the final day?
Yeah, not enough from us really. We've been poor since sort of Everton, I'd say. Like, I was obviously at the Everton game, wasn't happy with how we performed there, but I feel like the news leaking last night and stuff like that has probably had an effect into things, but we just simply weren't good enough, and we've not been a title winning side this season. It's been lovely to see us almost get there and have that belief, But we were only up there because Arsenal did make some mistakes this season. So it's, credit to the players. I'm really happy with how we played this season. It's just sad that we're going to walk away, and it feels weird that we're possibly leaving, that we're not leaving with him winning the title. But I'm not disappointed in the lads at all this season, and I feel like a lot of them come out their heads up high and say they played really well. We've just not quite got over the line where we needed today.
And did tonight maybe sort of sum up the reasons why, Emily?
I would say, we look a bit sloppy and we were being dispossessed in certain areas and things like that. Some of it might be fatigue, because we do have some players who play every single game. And obviously we've then got other players that don't usually sometimes end up playing together. But there is a couple of issues I feel like that just need neatening up and stuff like that. And like I said, the noise around Pep will help. And obviously it looks like it's going to be all change at the club this summer, which will be quite exciting to sort of see. I'm interested to see what Maresca does, if he's
Go on, Phil, on what Emily says. Well, her line just cut out there.
I know, I was thinking, where Emily was talking, it emulated what happened tonight. They haven't just quite been good enough, because the opposition have started to play catch up with the big boys. You know what I'm talking about? There's 3 or 4 teams that need special mention in the Premier League campaign this year, and one of them was on the field tonight, and it's not Man City, it was Bournemouth. Bournemouth have got closer to Man City with the performance that they put in today, and they've got 1 point to get them into Europe. They need 3 points on Saturday, and they're going into the Champions League. Bournemouth in the Champions League. It means teams are catching up with Man City, and they've got to do better to stay ahead of them.
Emily?
Yeah?
Carry on your point. We just lost you there for a second.
So obviously we're understanding that it could be all change at the club this summer, which it's a nerve-wracking thing, but it's also an exciting thing, because like I said, we've got a couple of cracks we need to clean up, both off injuries and obviously players that just haven't been great this season. But I don't think anyone's been extremely poor this season, so I'm not disappointed in anyone. But I think today did highlight some of the stuff we need to rebuild on and change in the summer, and go ahead again next season, possibly with someone else in charge. So we could play a slightly different type of football as well, which would be quite interesting to see at the club.
Yeah, and also, the point being made by Colin a little bit earlier was that this was supposed to be your kind of transitional season, if you like, and yet you're coming away from it with a domestic double.
Exactly, and we're looking like we're going to go into even a bigger transitional period. So I don't think we can actually call this season a transitional period anymore. But again, we've come away with a domestic double, something that some clubs would absolutely give everything to win. Like, I know fans of other clubs who say they will give everything to their club to win an FA Cup, like we saw how much it meant to Palace last year. So we've got to be grateful. I know it's not the calibre we usually expected to win, given how many leagues and obviously when we won the treble and stuff. But it's still silverware, so you can't be entirely disappointed.
Emily, it was interesting what people were saying at half time. We were just talking about the possible change of management at the highest level of English football. Manchester United, new manager. Possibly Liverpool, new manager. Chelsea, new manager. Man City, possibly new manager. And that's the top table of the top table. If that all happens, Man City could be in no man's land, but they could also steal a charge on the ones that are making changes as well.
Absolutely. Like we saw Maresca win trophies at Chelsea, so he's the man to come in and take over. But like you said, it could be what he classed as the big 6 in the Premier League next season, which I think makes the game a lot more exciting. It might be something we've not seen for a good sort of, I'd say, 15 years or so, when obviously we have teams going at each other and things like that. So it could be interesting to see it be such highly regarded managers going head to head in the best league in the world. So I think it could be a really exciting season next season.
And if it is going to be Maresca, Emily, he's worked with Pep obviously as his assistant in the treble winning season. He's got trophies as well at Chelsea, but crucially, is it the fact that he knows the club so well? I mean, that's already a big bonus to have.
That's a huge bonus. He was there when we won the treble. He obviously coached our youth team for a while. My only worry is obviously the way that as soon as City came knocking, he was willing to just drop Chelsea, and obviously then he had Chelsea. That's just an attitude issue that I think obviously comes to the club and says, no, to my heart. Obviously, I'll be convinced over by that. But his actual coaching style, I really like. And like you said, he's been before. He knows the players, he knows the team. He knows the club, so that's nothing I'm worried about.
And if it is going to be goodbye Pep on Sunday and then at the parade on Monday, Emily, what would be a fitting standoff for him? There's been sort of a chat about possibly the new stand being called the Pep Guardiola stand. What do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the least we can do for what he's done for the club. Like, naming a stand after him is the absolute least we could do. And I am devastated that we're not getting like half a season like Klopp did to say goodbye to Liverpool. That's how Pep wants. Then obviously that's his wishes. But yeah, I think it needs to be definitely the stand being named after him, if not more. So we owe everything to him. Like, we cannot
Certainly do. Emily, Manchester City fan, thank you for giving us a call. 0800 218 2255 if you want to squeeze one in before 10 o'clock. It's BBC Radio Manchester. Reminder that City's draw, the one apiece, that late Erling Haaland goal given. Well, they had about 30 seconds at the end to try and get the winner and send the title race to the final day. That didn't happen, so Arsenal are the champions for the 14th time, the first since the Invincibles of 2004. The Bournemouth players being presented on the pitch at the Vitality Stadium to the crowd there. Ariola's been speaking to Sky Sports. He says we've got a special group of players. I just want to celebrate and push it. We've got Europa League next. Let's maximise our options. Can we take the Champions League spot? Right, a few minutes left for you to have your say. Mark in Glossop, your reaction to tonight.
Game. I think a bit of tiredness kicked in. I thought we had 2 days rest since the FA Cup final, and I think they had 10 days, and I think it showed, particularly in the last sort of 20-25 minutes when we needed to respond. We didn't really have any second gear or whatever. It was a frustrating game, but reluctantly, you've got to admit the best team always wins the Premier League, and unfortunately, they've been. I'm still pleased that City have won 2 trophies in a season that's a transitional season. So I can't complain. It's just frustrating. I just love the win tonight, just to make Arsenal play one more game and have a bit of jeopardy for Sunday. And then you never know what happens. But too little, too late. I think dropping points at home against Brighton and Forest and Chelsea, and dropping points against away at Sunderland and. The list is endless. It's never about one game. It's about 38 home and away, and it's the toughest, league on the planet. And we just weren't quite good enough. But, if Pep leaves us, then we've got somebody from the boot room in place, and a few new acquisitions in the summer, and we go again, don't we?
Yeah, they certainly do. Mark, thank you. Phil Brown, final thoughts from you.
No, I just love what he's saying now. We never give in, do we? We're players, we're coaches, we're managers, we support our team through thick and thin, and straight away you're talking about less than 15-20 minutes after the final whistle, as it were, 1-1 draw, which has lost the title, and everyone's talking about the positives for next year. I love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You're going out, they knew it was going to happen at some point, Pep Guardiola leaving it this year or next year, but they are going out after winning a double, so that is the positive to take, isn't it?
It's massive. It really is. It's not as if it's a bad season, and you're listening to a manager here that's talking on the pitch here, who is being celebrated by Bournemouth for his 3 years and his 3 campaigns, but putting it up against Man City is what he's celebrating here. He's actually gone toe to toe with one of the best coaches in the world and one of the best teams in the world, and he's actually come out level and could have been on top if truth be known, but it was one of them. But Man City, it has to be said, it's a fabulous 10 years campaign under one man who has transformed, revolutionised the game of football, and not just the Premier League, the whole world of football has been changed because of Pep Guardiola.
Well said, Phil Brown. Reaction on the BBC Sounds page from Manchester City, but there'll be no final day title race tonight for the Blues. They fall at the penultimate hurdle. Arsenal are the champions.
Total Sport.
Action replay.
BBC Radio Manchester.
Long ball down the line from Tavernier. Oh, that's a nice ball back to Creepy inside the area. Right-footed! He finds the top corner, and Bournemouth have the lead. The cartwheel celebration is almost as good as the finish. Manchester City are behind, and is that the goal that wins the Premier League title tonight for Arsenal? Left-footed ball, stands it up, flicked on by O'Reilly. Kusanov's header inside the area. Haaland heads it down towards Foden. Ball drops. Oh, it comes to Rodri, who hits it. He's hit the post. Haaland on the rebound. It's in. Erling Haaland scores in off the post. Manchester City equalise, and there's still time. They need another 90 seconds to go. City are level. Bournemouth 1, City 1. And plays on the touchline. The referee blows the whistle, and the race is run. For the first time in over 2 decades, the Premier League trophy is heading back to North London. Arsenal are Premier League champions, and Manchester City fall short.
Action replay.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Manchester.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
play BBC Radio Manchester,
and on your radio.
The sound of Manchester is
BBC Radio Manchester.
10 o'clock with the BBC News, I'm Vicky Carter. The Metropolitan Police says up to 20 companies and 57 people could be charged in connection with the Grenfell Tower fire. 72 people died in the disaster in West London in 2017. Files of evidence will be sent to prosecutors by the end of September, with a charging decision expected by next June at the latest. Southampton have been expelled from football's Championship playoff final after admitting to spying on 3 of their opponents during the season. Middlesbrough, who lost to them in their semi-final, will now play Hull on Saturday for a place in the Premier League next season. BBC Sports reporter Lewis Coombs says the club is expected to appeal.
They've admitted 3 breaches of spying on training of their opponents against Oxford, Ipswich and Middlesbrough, but they are in shock at the severity of the punishment. Now, the financial implications are clear, with estimations that promotion to the Premier League could be worth anything north of £100 million, but it's also the reputational damage that this could cause the football club.
Surrey Police says it's investigating 2 separate allegations of non-recent child sexual abuse following the US release of files about the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The incidents are alleged to have happened in Surrey and Berkshire between the mid-1980s and 2000. No arrests have been made. Andrew Malkinson, who served 17 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit, has told the BBC victims of a miscarriage of justice shouldn't have to pay their own legal fees. Last month, Paul Quinn was convicted of rape in Salford in 2003. Mr Malkinson says fees shouldn't be deducted out of compensation, and he faces a bill of around £10,000.
It's really wrong, you know, it's like vindictive. It feels vindictive. Why doesn't the state, the perpetrator of the injustice, pay the costs for the experts and the legal fees? Because they did the damage, not me.
The Ministry of Justice says it's increased the maximum compensation payable for miscarriages of justice, and a consultation is taking place on the law relating to criminal appeals. A leading UK supermarket has told the BBC the government has approached the sector to try to put limits on some food prices. The retailer said government policies such as living wage increases were driving food prices up. A Treasury spokesperson said it will set out more detail in due course. The country's first micro-pub has been taken over by one of its customers. Paul Munro has bought the Butcher's Arms in Kent, taking over from the previous landlord who'd run it for 20 years.
I've been trying to persuade other people to buy it for a long time, people that were retired, and didn't work, unfortunately. It looked like that if it sold, it could get developed and therefore the pub would close. We felt like it was a duty of care to snap it up, run it the same as it's always been.
And after 22 years, Arsenal have won the Premier League title. The 1-1 draw between Manchester City and Bournemouth wasn't enough for Manchester City to clinch the title. You're up to date. It's 3 minutes past 10.
The Late Show with Becky Want.
BBC Radio Manchester.
Evening. Welcome to Tuesday night and good times.